Ah, what a little duo they are, called the White Stripes out of Detroit, Michigan. It's Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I'm Ron Bennington. Happy to be here with you today. And I just want to thank all my new fans at the Empire Casino in either Yonkers or Bronx. Quite the debate took place last night.
Is it on the border? Is it technically?
I couldn't tell you any of that. I know a good amount of the room thought it was a Bronx, a good amount of the room thought it was Yonkers, and then I came up with a solution. Let's light the place on fire and see who comes to put it out. And a woman yelled out, "You'll see, it's going to be Westchester County."
That's awesome.
Yeah. But really, I wish I would have videotaped that actual whole show going in and out, because that crowd, there's nothing like it in the world.
Really?
Yes. It's a small world of ethnic groups and gambling addicts. That racino is, I called it racino. We all gave thumbs up, because I'm edgy that way. But it was really a hysterical crowd. There was nothing to do but just hang with them.
Did you play any video poker?
I went and checked it out. It seemed very dystopian to me.
It's as weird as I described it, right?
Yes.
Like the just automated, like, "Hi, come take a seat."
Yeah, there was a girl with giant tits that wanted me to play blackjack with her cartoonness. Half of it was like hentai, and then half of it was just, low-grade casino play. Very, very funny, though. Great night. Omi and Diana were there.
Nice.
And he asked me not to tell this story, but I feel like I have to. So I got free drink tickets because, let's face it, I'm a big headliner, and my name was painted on a small sign that was sitting on the floor without even a stand. But so I get my free drink tickets, and I see him before the show, and I'm like, oh, I'll give it to him, right? And I go over I'm leaning in to give him the tickets, and he sees me and throws me in a hug, thinking I came in for a hug.
Right.
And then he was like, oh man.
That wasn't supposed to be a hug.
So he asked me not to bring it up.
You decided not to honor that, I see.
Well, I felt like when someone tells you don't do something, I think they want you to. But they made my night.
And less travel for them, I guess.
Yeah, they were minutes away. And I was told of like a great pizza place that's only 10 minutes from there, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But a lot of fun, a good time was had by all. Congratulations to Rachel Feinstein, who did the Tonight Show last night.
Very cool. I taped it. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I watched her put that, Tonight Show set together. So that's up on the iBank. She looks fantastic. What is it about a red dress that
pops?
But it didn't always, right? There was times that people didn't wear red dresses, or has a red dress never been out?
There was a time where I think it came into fad and it never went away. But for a while, I think it was a bit showy, a bit scandalous.
Right.
Like there was an assumption with the colors red, a whore's color.
Okay. Now, why doesn't a red suit work for men? You think that a man could come out with a red suit and it just pops?
Yeah, it doesn't really. It's too loud.
I don't know if I've ever seen one outside of Def Comedy Jam where they will put on a bright and exciting red suit. Jen, why are you there? Does Vito want to handle the guest today?
He's just waiting on Margot to be bringing our guest.
Yeah, but why? You were always the guest person. Was there a reason that he's a fan or something?
He didn't say why.
That's a very odd. You can find out when Vito is a fan of something or someone because he tries to get closer, but he doesn't tell us.
He gets I'm bringing Rex's lunch.
Yeah. Well, that's not happening for you, Vito. You're not doing Taran Killam today, okay? Oh. You know why? You're not the well-put-together young producer.
No.
You're you're not leaving, I'm calling Vito. Everybody has a role to play, and you're a fake bouncer.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll be fake bouncer.
Are you a Taran Killam fan? Was that part of it?
Well, I'm a huge Taran Killam fan, and I can't wait for him to come in. And I also just had to talk to Margot. But yeah, I want to meet Taran Killam. He was my favorite SNL person.
What's the story with Margot at the wedding? Is that still happening, or what's going on there? Is that too small of a movie to make a reference?
I got
to?
it.
There's a kid who's at the coffee shop that I go to who said this. Why are Americans always quoting movies?
What?
Where is he from? Because I had a friend who was Japanese who said,
yeah, he's Asian.
Yeah, and she was very like, it's weird how you guys are always just like quoting movies. And then she was like kind of confused the way you work it in as though you've just said it, and then everyone laughs, but they know that you're quoting a movie.
See, that's his thing. He said that he's confused because he thinks that people think that they're mad that he's talking to me. You're talking to me. But they're not talking about themselves. It's a movie quote. Why do Americans do that? I go, try hanging around with Artie for a while. Artie's in the movie quotes on a constant basis.
Yeah. I always like when people, half of what they do is communicate in movie quotes. I can relate to it.
I love it. And I'll be like, oh, quote, quote, movie quote. All right, let's do this.
I'm in.
But he's because he doesn't, it's a second language for him. But, to suddenly find himself as he's trying to focus on what people are talking about and find out that, it's the king and I, that suddenly he doesn't understand why we would just go into a movie. By the way, my buddy Haas was there last night, too.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to bring him on stage and have him do it because... he's been doing some stand-up himself. Yeah. But he was sitting farther back, so I didn't see him in the darkness of the bright lights of I think it's called the entertainment room. It looks like a great place for a wedding. But good sound. I was very, very surprised.
That's important.
All right, here's what it's called. It's called the Good Times room.
Oh, I like that.
So I opened up. Let the good times roll. Nobody, Cars fans, let them knock you around. Are the Cars not even nominated this year?
They are. Yeah, they're nominated.
Please put the fucking Cars in the rock.
Enough is enough.
Enough of the fucking gruff. Put the Cars in. Candy, oh, I need you so. That's the first point that music got cold instead of hot.
Yeah.
That was like, not here to warm up the place.
I still kind of like that. I think if whatever that genre of music that was popular, not just when you were a kid, not like when you were in middle school or high school, but like what's popular when you're a baby, I still hear stuff that sounds like that cold, new wavy.
Karen is sitting right behind you right now.
Oh, my God. I'm not going to turn around.
His time. Killing Gunther is the movie. Anything else to plug, Chris?
Just Killing Gunther. That comes out Friday, October 20th in theaters.
But it's on demand now. Let's bring in Taran Killam.
Taran Killam's in studio. Killing Gunther comes out in theaters Friday, October 20th.
First of all, congratulations, dude.
Thank you very much.
A major thing to take on.
Yeah, it was a lot of hats. It was a lot of work, a lot of time, fully consuming, just the most challenging thing I've ever done, but ultimately certainly the most rewarding.
How far from hey, I got this premise to today? How long does that take?
Close to 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, when I watched this, I'm like, okay, great. He's put this comedy together, but I had no idea the action that you had to shoot for this.
Right.
It looks like a gigantic budget movie. I don't know what you did with it, but
thank you. No, it was not. So.
Yes, but there's cars blowing up.
Yeah,
there's crazy shots every which way.
Yeah, thank you. No, those are probably the sequences I'm most proud of because the style we shot it in is mockumentary, like single camera. So there are these unbroken shots too.
Yes,
right. So planning that out and storyboarding and structuring the carpocalypse is what we called it when we were planning. We shot over 2 days and we closed off 2 streets in this little town, Cloverdale, in BC, Canada. And yeah, we just worked really hard on the prep. So the days of shooting were actually not too challenging. There's some
Is that
stress,
right?
But yeah.
But even after, were you just walking out in this car graveyard, which I tried to think, did I ever even see anything like that in a film before? And I don't think I did.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, it was, you write it and you go, oh, well, they'll definitely make me change this. And that was one that we got away with. Yeah.
Are you giving away who Gunther is?
Yeah. So, I mean, in writing it, I didn't want to, right? The artist side of things, I was like, let's keep it a secret. Imagine being in that theater and then suddenly this person shows up. But when Arnold Schwarzenegger signs on to your movie, people hear about it, and it's hard to keep secret.
You grew up an Arnold fan?
I like died in the wool. Yeah.
Yeah. And Gail, like Arnold's always been in your life is probably as long as you've been alive.
Yes. I mean, Terminator 2 was kind of like my first big, it took me a while even to find out that there was a 1.
Yes. Right.
I was like, why did they call this 2? It's kind of an interesting take.
Exactly.
But I can remember that probably being my first experience, like watching a big action movie as it breaks and everyone's talking about it. And
Well, what I love about him in this, and probably I guess his personality is, he gets that. He understands. I know everybody. It's me, Arnold, and I'm in this film. Isn't this weird?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
No, and he was pitched to us. Actually, I didn't even.
Wow.
I didn't even think it would. That was a reality that we could get somebody like of his status. And they said he's looking to do something smaller and try things that are a little outside of his comfort zone. And this was great because it's within. It's within his wheelhouse. It's definitely like his brand, but incredibly absurd take on it.
Yeah, but he also was, even back then, he had this comedic side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's terribly comfortable with himself. Yeah. It's unbelievable how comfortable he is. Because that's not easy to be the biggest action star in the world. And aging, what do you do with it? A lot of guys have been embarrassing with it, but he seems like he knows.
He's incredibly confident. He's incredibly charismatic. He's like very like worldly educated, right? So in terms of aging and health and fitness, who knows more than he does? But it's been really fun to sit with him and talk about politics, and he's taken on this mantle of gerrymandering and trying to take that down. And he's one of the smartest people I've ever spoken to. He's done it. I mean, he was a bodybuilder.
Yes.
Became the best.
Yeah.
Wanted to do movies, became the best action star ever. Then became a governor of one of the largest states in the United States. And now, you know what I mean? Like he just, if he's going to do something, he's going to be the best at it.
But each time he had to come over being like, it started, the media treated it like a joke, so when he went into acting, it was a joke until the first Terminator, which, by the way, I prefer to the Terminator that your generation
scandalous.
Because we didn't see that coming. Yeah. And it's a brilliant, and they didn't, talk about small budget, blah, blah, blah. And it was scary as shit, Scary as shit to be in that theater. And this guy who, late night would do like funny voices about him.
Yeah.
So everything they did, even when he ran for governor, is a joke.
And then,
he gets it. He's unbelievable.
It's true.
I'm going to tell you another scene that I thought was amazing. That's the hotel hallway scene where you're kicking doors in. That thing plays fairly frightening, right? That thing is like, holy shit, it's claustrophobic. Cool. So this, I wouldn't even know where to put your film because I went into it mockumentary.
Yes.
Which you also do some really cool stuff with that form too. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but there's an action scene that you use the mockumentary camera angles
in the kitchen,
that I thought
kitchen
was
fight scene,
really choreographed so well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that, and it was a bit of a risk because people are giving you, even though we're teeny little movie, people are giving you a good amount of money and trusting you to do something with it, and trusting somebody who has never directed a film before, right? And I'm going in there conceptually saying, okay, so you know how you make movies? I want to do the opposite I want to do it badly. I want to do one angle. I want it to look sloppy. I want it it's the camera as a character and talking department heads and professionals out of their expertise a little bit. required a lot of trust and required taking a risk on this unproven guy. So it means a lot that those are the things that stood out to you because it was very intentional and what I was going for sure.
Well, what I always expect as a first comedy movie is almost a play. You know what I mean? Like Woody Allen did it or Kevin Smith. Like, let's set up the camera and be as funny as we can in front of it. But this, the movement in this film, it probably was even a mistake as your first time directing to try something like this.
Well, I think it's it as you said, you don't know how to define it, and that's my life. I fight against being typecast or cliche or doing the expected. If I was going to take this on, writing, directing, producing, acting in, I wanted it to be something unlike things I'd seen before. Different, maybe not, people may not. I have found in initial feedback that people expecting a traditional Arnold action comedy are disappointed because they don't understand, like, what it looks weird, but people who understand the mockumentary element of it seem to really enjoy it because it is funny, but the action is legitimate. You know what I mean? The danger is real.
Well, you almost have to say this isn't this reality. You would never make this documentary.
Correct.
We live in a bizarre enough world where this could be done. And then we live in a bizarre enough world where there is a Gunther. You know what I mean? Because I guess there are killers out there, hired killers. How well do they know each other? Is there like a billboard chart of how everybody's doing?
Exactly. It's absurd in concept because I think the reality, I'm sure that, that is very dark, very maybe like boring. You know what I mean? And so definitely borrowing from like Luc Besson, arch. Everybody's a little more arch. Yes. Everybody's a little more stylized because it is such a ludicrous occupation.
Now you, other than Arnold, everybody else was a friend of yours that you could call in. For this.
We got pretty lucky. I didn't know Hannah, who plays Sanaa. I didn't know her before, but was a fan of hers. And Allison, same thing with Allison, because I loved Allison first season of Fargo and
yes, it's unbelievable.
So I got really lucky with them, but. Yeah, I put my wife in it. Bobby, I worked with on SNL. Paul, SNL. Ryan Gall, who plays Allison's twin, is somebody I performed with at Groundlings. It's one of my favorite people.
Bobby's great in it because if it is him if he was just a tad crazier.
Exactly.
Just slightly. Yes. But he still has that, I don't know what it is, that likability. You know what I mean? I don't know how people get to be that likable. They're that good-hearted. But then he has this extra thing that he happens to be good at.
Yeah, he blows me away because he is one of the kindest, most generous hearts and spirits that I've ever encountered. But he's just inherently funny. He's just funny, and he's a master of it. And my favorite things to watch Bobby do on SNL weren't necessarily his big character. I mean, Drunk Uncle is so funny, and Riblet, all these ludicrous characters are amazing, engaging. But anytime he was in a scene where he was playing the straight man or he was driving it, and the subtleties of his ability, right? Because you see him do something as broad as Riblet, and people want to define you as that, but Bobby's capable of incredibly subtle and intricate emoting and performing. I think he's a very strong actor as well as a comedian.
Well, like any really great comedic actor, he could break your heart. You know what I mean? Like,
he has like funny vulnerability. Where you're just like
of course I didn't. Yeah, well, this should be yours. You know that thing that I don't know. Certain people have that just crushes you. I always thought that Marty Short had that, and John Candy. It's kind of almost that kind of Canadian thing. But when Bobby started on SNL, his first season, I used to call him the sixth man because he looked like that guy in basketball that would just come rushing into the game. You know what I mean? You could just see how much he loved it. And some people go through that SNL thing like it's the worst thing that ever happened to them. And some people are worried, like, how do I get the movies? And some people are like, I can't believe that I'm
Yes.
in the TV, and he's that guy.
He is. He loves it. There's no bigger fan of SNL. He knows the history. He's the one who's stealing props after every sketch because it has sentimental value. You
Right.
know? Yeah.
And you and him were geek buddies on that show. I know both of you guys loved that stuff. How did that come to you?
In my life?
Yeah, in your
life. I've always enjoyed the escapism of fantasy and fairy tale and sci-fi and superhero. It's just something that always appealed to me, and that it just sort of never went away. You know, Star Wars was probably the biggest for me because from the first moment of consciousness, Star Wars was my favorite thing. And just, I was a kid who could go into his room and by himself and just set up the toys, not even play with them, but be playing the story out in my head as I'm like placing them on my shelves, and and then like it'd be an hour and mom would be like, lunchtime, and then I hadn't actually played, but I just loved being in that world. And the X-Men and Spider-Man and Batman, those were kind of the big three comics that I followed. And I think it was just about, I think we come into this world pretty self-obsessed, and there's something about being exceptional, but about believing in and subscribing to being exceptional and the responsibility of being exceptional, and having sometimes greatness thrust upon you and sometimes having to seek greatness out. Those themes continue to remain important to me.
That's fascinating too, because I think about you setting that stuff up and how much that's like directing. You've got a comic book, and how much that's like storyboarding.
Yeah.
I always wondered why they didn't put out more storyboards that people could buy.
Totally. Animatics. Yeah. Sometimes they'll string them together. Yeah. No, I agree. As a coffee book.
That would be fascinating. Dude, just to see some people stick figure it, but some people go way deep.
Yes.
Because they have that visual background. So for you, storyboarding this, how was that different from your, like, doing your own comic book and stuff?
We had a wonderful artist who helped us out on the action sequences. We didn't storyboard the whole film.
Oh, okay. Because you had these improvisational actors that you were hoping for.
Yeah, exactly. And so the storyboarding was helpful, more like an NFL coach, you know what I mean? Like a playbook, really. And we would do that too. Like, we would even lay out a map. And it's funny, talking about playing with toys, we'd bring in for the Carpocalypse Hot Wheels toys and line them up and explain sort of the journey of it, of how this will explode first, then this one will be pointing over that shoulder. We'll see that, whereas a comic book, a still image has to convey the story, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there's some borrowed technique in that, but storyboarding was more about charting a course than telling the story, because for me, I didn't need it in great detail. It was about figuring out the angle, figuring out what we're seeing on camera, because movies, it's motion visuals as opposed to static images.
Well, I know you got a bunch of places to go out and promote this, but again, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's such an impossible thing for a young performer to move into that, and you took on the giant challenge. Give us the plug, would you, Chris?
Thank you. Taran Killam's been in studio. Killing Gunther comes out in theaters Friday, October 20th.
Thanks so much, Taran. Good luck with everything. We'll be right back, Bennington. Yeah, I watched that, and I love movies so much. That detail work, never.
You couldn't imagine it.
Never do I want to do detail work. I want to do broad ideas.
Producer type.
Bigger than executive producer. I want to go to lunch and I want to just have a giant idea that everybody loves. And then I come back later in the editing room and I'm like, what the fuck? How did you fuck up? I gave you the perfect idea. Maybe I want to be a studio head, just a screaming studio head who's groping and just drinking and snorting and having the time of my life.
Those are hot right now.
But I don't want to be there and go, oh my God, the sun's going down. How do we still make our day?
Yeah, it's so much pressure.
So, first, Chris bothers me about this during a show because they want to come in so early. And I'm like, not now, Chris. I told you I don't even want to work here. Give this the veto. Vito's like, we got to do this thing. Here's what the, and then as soon as I do it, the rep that's been pushing is giving the wrap up sign. I'm like, why did everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watched the movie. Look, everything I said to him was 100% true. You just don't try a movie like this when you're a young guy doing your first movie.
It was very ballsy.
It reminded me of, like, remember the Shaun of the Dead, where you're like, oh, you don't have to work this hard. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do all this to make a funny movie. You can just set it up in a New Jersey convenience store. Just set up a straight camera and have the
put it on a tripod.
Yeah, put it on a tripod. Have the characters walk in and out. We're always busy around here, though. The old Bennington show.
We are busy.
Sirius XM. We're not just XM. We're Sirius XM.
We're serious about being XM.
I guess in our own way, you know. Vito and Chris are very tense now because of that thing. Because you know that you guys got. It's not your fault. But when I tell you, please don't bother me with this because these people don't care. You can't not on the radio, Chris. You would have to be able to explain yourself.
I understand. I'm very annoyed with that rep because they were very vocal in wanting to give us some people at certain times. And
it was this person. It wasn't some people. It was Taran. Bobby Moynihan in it as a weapons expert, I guess.
Demolitions expert, explosive.
I think I just saw 1967 Robbie Robertson walk by.
What? How?
There's a time machine taking place.
I would love to see that version of Robbie. Oh, show. I meant because he's so sexy, Chris.
Oh.
Because I said it and then Chris was like, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I know.
I meant it in a sexual way.
Chris is...
But if you're into that too, come on in.
But he's bothering anybody. I don't know why I have all this paper in front of me and where's my regular stuff? Fucking annoying. Boy Scouts now accept girls. Girl Scouts going out of business, I guess. I don't know that there was enough to be in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. You know what I mean? Like, is there still kids doing this?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I knew right away. People were going to be like, what? In this day and age, we have to have... But shouldn't we just be happy that kids want to go outside? I thought that was the other complaint, that no kids want to go outside.
I don't think that... I don't see a lot of Boy Scouts and I don't see a lot of Girl Scouts. When I was a very little kid, I don't know of any boys that weren't in at least Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
You went into Cub Scouts, all little girls went into brownies. And then by the time I got into adulthood, that didn't happen. I came in on just the end of it. I came in at the time where some Boy Scouts smoked weed. But every once in a while you'll hear about somebody who was an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, that's when you're like an adult.
You're
Scout.
like, that's too far, dude. You should just join the military.
I think Cub Scout is about it's Cub, then it's Weeblo, then it's Boy Scout. I don't know what happens after that.
Eagle Scout.
That's Eagle Scout.
That's Eagle Scout. That's where things start to really
drop out.
Yeah, I mean, that's like being in the movie Survivor, the TV show Survivor.
Morgan Murphy had a really funny tweet about it because she said, to be honest, all I wanted to do as a kid was to be a Boy Scout and make Pinewood Derby cars, but instead I had to sell fucking cookies.
There's nothing better than those cookies, though.
I know.
Anytime that you can take a cookie, put it in front of a supermarket where they sell cookies, and still crush that shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. Now, when I was a kid, I enjoyed selling anything. Anything. Going door to door selling stuff, thrilling to me. Always was at the top percentages. I'd sell candles. I'd sell Christmas candies. But the best thing I've ever sold in my life, and I should have gotten into this business. And I guarantee you, if you sold this now, I mean, I'm sure people are afraid of door to door today. A first aid kit, a small first aid kit that had everything inside of it
It's important.
And I could walk up to a house, them go, we don't want any. I go, ma'am, first, before you turn me away, let's just take a look at this first aid kit. Look, you have something like this in your home? And they would always be like, I really don't. And I go, you know what's great is that you have something like this if you have children or if your husband's in the shop. And she's like, yeah, I could. And they would buy that first aid kit. You don't have a first aid kit in your house. I don't have a first aid in my house. I fucking need a first aid kit.
It's very important.
And it's really just, it's iodine, it's bandages. It's not, there's not an EpiPen in there. You know where your EpiPen is. But you also don't know where everything is if you cut yourself. These things were cheap. You know what I mean? They were made cheaply. I sold them cheaply. And I moved fucking freight trains full of them. Freight trains.
My big success for selling door to door was I sold Christmas wrapping paper for my school. And that one I really liked.
Can I
because you get a nice little booklet, and it's like almost like swatches of the wrapping paper. This was very fun to me as a kid.
See, Christmas wrapping paper sells because, well, you're going to need Christmas wrapping paper, but two, they know it's from the school. So some people, and I'm like this now. I'm like, oh, this is for the school. Mm-hmm. Okay, here. But believe me when I tell you, when I was handing over those first aid kits. And we'd have an agreement and a sigh. We were connected, me and the woman who bought. And sometimes we just pour a drink and let it sit there. We'd both stare at it. And then we'd lift that drink, put it to our lips, salute each other.
It's beautiful.
Glen Ross, everybody. You wonder why Asians are confused. That's why I went right in for the Jack Lemmon character, Glen Ross. But I honestly think that was, I think I would have went into that, some kind of low rent sales like that. A big sales thing, that doesn't mean anything to me. But if I could have been of the age where they sold brushes or vacuum cleaners door to door, I probably would have happily done that.
Because you're moving quantity. Like you're seeing.
You're not in an office. You're out. It's a small sale. You make it. It's exciting. It's an exciting thing to get a sale. Because in the back of your mind, you're like, I got to make 2 or 3 sales a day, right? Maybe you make your second sale by the time it's fucking 11 o'clock in the morning. Then you think to yourself, one more sale? Probably going to spend the day drinking from this point on. When I was a kid, I sold cable TV. Door to door when they were laying out the neighborhoods, right? Do you want to walk up to a house that had nothing but 3 channels with a small brochure that you have now the opportunity of 30 different channels, including sports and naked people? Naked people. You're going to have naked people in your home. There could be nothing easier than selling cable to an uncabled fucking, I don't know, Coke is a pretty easy sale to make, and I always enjoyed those one-on-ones more than I did freight. You know what I mean? I don't want, you know what I mean? I just want like, dude, enjoy this Coke. Yeah. Go ahead, get out there, man. Yeah, I'll fucking do a bump with you before you do it. Just a key. I don't want to cut it out. That connection that we all have, that's something else. Selling magazines. Who wants a fucking magazine?
Yeah, and I think there's a commitment there that you don't have with, say, a wrapping paper, a first aid. Like a magazine is like a lasting commitment. They kind of pile up, and you're like, I don't know if I want that. No, I might want one.
Yeah,
but like to subscriptions to things, I think that's a tough sell.
It is, and yet it was always a nice high payment for you. You know, you could make a little decent thing of moving a couple of subscriptions. There's and they always want young people to do it because people feel like they want to be there for young people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, young man, because you can lie about what it's going. You know where the money's going. No one what are they going to do? Report you? And then a cop shows up and you're like, she's confused. This is exactly for the magazine. It's not for anybody else. But that one-on-one sales, which is gone now because everybody is afraid of people coming up to their house, everybody. Well, and you know what else is even gone really is the telephone sales. Telephone sales was a giant way young people got their first job. But now you can block anybody. I don't fucking pick up the phone unless your name appears.
Yeah. There's I get a couple of those weird automated calls. And then when I hear them, I go, well, anybody knows that this is just a sales pitch and it's bullshit or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is just for elderly people. This is just for elderly people to pick up the phone, be confused about who they're on the phone with, and give them money.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. Sometimes somebody will come up to your door with something that you need. You just don't know that you need it.
Right.
A guy showed up at my door one time to show me how he could get rid of stains in my driveway. I go, you can't get rid of it. You know what I mean? He goes, let's walk out to your driveway. Starts fucking removing stains. I go, young man, you've done it. You've made your sale. You got a great fucking product and you're a great person. There's plenty of things I don't know that I want. Right. How else am I going to know? I don't even watch commercials anymore. I didn't even know I had a problem with stains in my driveway. I didn't give a fuck. What is there, an oil stain in my driveway? It's a driveway. You know what? Some people are so proud of their driveways, and I see a driveway as the extension of the road. I don't see it any different. I go, that's where the road ends, right in front of my door. Convenient. But some people want their driveway to look fucking fresh. I'm going to tell you the truth. Even a lawn, I consider it God's lawn. I didn't really, you know what I mean? I feel like that's what God, has. He put grass here. Me being out there, and I've had neighbors who are like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Been doing all this yard work. I go, why don't you just go in your house? You're missing fucking ball games. Speaking of ball games, that Yankees comeback after being 0-2 against the hottest team, not just of this summer, of any summer. The Cleveland Indians had an amazing summer with that winning streak. They come out, they kick the shit out of the Yankees. 2 games. Only one person, Chris Stanley, didn't believe. He was moving on. Hard Rock Johnny didn't believe. I didn't talk to Earl until after the game. I'm sure he never gave up hope. Only one person said to me, dude, they're going to win 2 in New York and come back and win in Cleveland. And I said to him, you're always too positive. Sherrod Small.
Really?
Sherrod Small. And he is an up guy. I'm not going to lie to you. He's an up guy. But he swore that was going to happen. I didn't even debate with the gentleman. I said to myself, there's no sense of me even talking to this madman. But off he went. So congratulations to the Yanks. Chris, I see you're wearing a Yankees cap again.
That's right, yeah.
Sure.
Are you going to bring back are you on the bandwagon enough?
I don't think I'm on a bandwagon. I've always been a Yankees fan.
Scope Pro this thing from this point on?
I don't know if I can scope it. We can gram it.
I'm sorry, gram it?
There's Instagram live video.
All right. When's the next game? Tomorrow?
That's tomorrow night, yes.
All right. I'll be looking forward to Graham. Just show me how you do it. I've never been on that. Rich, we got you.
Hey, Bennington.
Yeah, how are you?
You there?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, my Little League, I grew up in Peoria, Illinois, and they were ahead of their time. We sold light bulbs for Little League door to door.
Exciting.
And we sold them by the truckload. And back then we only had 2 kinds of light bulbs. The fluorescent tubes or just the standard light bulb.
You actually went so far to sell fluorescent, though.
Yeah.
That's stunning for that age. You know what I mean?
That's a very mature product.
Yeah, that is, and you sold a ton of them and you had a ball doing it.
Yeah, and it was light enough. I mean, you could carry a lot of them.
Yeah.
And you weren't ordering them like you do a lot of stuff now. Product was on hand.
You had it on hand.
The only problem was...
Always smart.
The only problem was those fluorescent tubes. That was also the time of Star Wars, so those became lightsabers. And
is that a problem or an exciting new way to use it, too? All right, thanks. I forgot, too, when you were little like that, you used to sell those thick chocolate bars, and they would have almonds in them, and you couldn't get them anywhere else.
Yeah.
And they would be like a little more costly, but God damn it, you knew you had something special there.
It was very good. I forgot. I never sold those, but I remember girls in my neighborhood sold those.
They were thick and chocolatey and great. Now, we also did a thing in Little League and our Little League version of football, and it used to be called Tag Day, right?
Okay.
Tag Day. And you would stand out in the street in front of red lights, and a car would come up, and you would just sell them a tag. And it was a tag that you would put around the rearview mirror to say, I support the Little League. And then you could drive around with that. But this is how much the world has changed. We would stand in the street at a busy intersection, walking up to cars, knocking on pedophiles, and go like, it's Tag Day. Everybody already knew what it was. Like, you didn't have to tell them. So me and my friends were doing the Tag Day at Boothwyn Corner. It's a busy little corner. It's a busy little intersection. It also happens to be the home of E&M Hoagies, which is no longer there. Great hoagie and cheesesteak place. And the coach used to drop the kids off at all these different places. And then he would come back, pick up money, give you more tags, blah, blah, blah. He comes back. None of us are standing on the corner. And then he looks over. All of us are sitting in the fucking E&M's parking lot, eating cheesesteaks, drinking chocolate milk. Now he knows our mothers never gave us enough lunch money that we could fucking just sit and eat cheesesteaks with a fucking quart of chocolate milk. But we had taken the Tag Day money, and we're like, this is fucking slow. What can I tell you? Nobody's buying tags today. They're assholes.
I like just yelling Tag Day. Like, there's no sales pitch to it. It's
Tag Day.
Tag Day.
Tag Day.
Cough it up.
But then the thing is, once you put your tag on there, you were free. You don't have to put $5 for the tag. You whatever you're given. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's not a cost for the tag.
It's just a donation.
They're going to either give you change. Some people give you a couple bucks. Some people are saying you better beat Aston this year. I hate those bastards, and we're going to beat Aston. That's a fucking given. Bob, Jersey.
Buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to sell cheese and sausage when I was in junior high.
Cheeses and sausage. Now, was those kind of shitty ones that they sell at a kiosk in the mall? That was stuff that I would always get for uncles and aunts. That little box would come in. It's all different kind of cheese. My Uncle Ray would just have them stacked up from everybody in the family. Man, I would love some cheese and sausage right now, though.
I know, it does sound pretty good.
Vito, you never have cheeses and sausage for us.
It seems like you would.
We'll have cheese and sausage from now on.
Pitok dropped by with some nice deli yesterday. Very nice
yes,
deli that
some
he came
cats.
with. It's from Cat's Deli, from the famous scene, I'll Have What She's Having. The director's mother was the person who delivered that line.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes. That line is, if you go to Katz's, there's always a woman moaning at a table while somebody is videotaping. It's fucking annoying. But I'll tell you this about Katz's Deli. And I did this by mistake. You know how you have to stand in line and order up there?
Yeah.
I got a quick hot dog while I'm standing in line. Their fucking hot dogs are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they're not known for their hot dogs.
No,
It's just a little
it's very good.
thin hot dog. And I could eat a fucking dozen of them. You know what? I will eat a dozen of them. Vito, put your fucking feed bag on. After this show together, we're going on an eating tour of the Lower East Side.
Oh, okay.
The tour will have one stop.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Chris, are you catching today? Any reason why that hat's on backwards?
Well, it's not a fitted, so it hurts my head. It's a little tight. So I have to put it backwards.
Well, why would that make it?
It's because even the largest thing doesn't fit him.
No. I have a problem buying hats. A snapback doesn't work for me. A huge head.
Why don't you just keep the snap open? Just let it be free.
That would look insane.
Scott, North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm actually from Wisconsin, and we used to go around, me and my three brothers, and we'd sell frozen pizzas, but you'd have to get the order for them, and that was fun. And I'd always tell people, like, I'm just one, if you order 5, and then I'll get my thing. So I'm way more than my brothers, but I despised the day it came that we had to go drive around and deliver them, though.
Yeah, delivery is something that never interested me.
Yeah, that stinks.
And I don't mind walking up with a box. I had a fucking crate of candles that had fallen off a truck. My brother got them, and then I sold them when I was a little kid as for a non-existent boys club. And it was all about the boys club, more or less, than anything else. But it was very exciting because that was all pure profit. But I'll tell you something else I loved about door-to-door sales. Getting inside people's houses.
Oh, yeah,
taking a
look around.
Is this a clean place? Is it a nut house? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are the fucking animals free to run wild? Is there 2 TV sets on with different fucking things at the same time? Do the women answer the door provocatively, which to a youngster is sex? It's all you need to do.
Visual.
Is be close to it. Yeah. Just be close to it.
Yeah, I remember when I was going around selling wrapping paper, there were so many people that didn't have kids. Like if they had kids, you would be friends with them, you would go inside the house, but you're like, really like to see what some of these single adults are doing in their place.
Adults without kids were always confusing to me as a child. I couldn't understand just the wealth and cleanliness that they were living with. Bill in Mass. Bill, what do you got?
Hey, Ronnie B. Hey, when I was in elementary school, they used to do a towel drive every year to try to get us out there to pound the pavement to try and sell beach towels to people. I never did it. My parents were always like, I'm not wasting your time doing that. It was the same 2 kids every year through 1st through 6th grade. They'd always bring home the big prize, which back then was like a Weeble or something like that. Nothing big, but towels, that's what they used to push on us.
Yeah, what was that about the Weebles? I was just thinking there was something where they were like these little creatures, and they were like, if you had sold a certain amount, you would get them, and they were fuzzy. Is that what you're talking about?
He's already gone.
No, I was just wondering about the Weebles.
A Weeble wobbles, but it won't fall down. That was the whole premise of a Weeble. It was like just like a round little thing that you could push back and forth.
I'm thinking
fuzzy. I don't know.
I'm thinking of something else, and I don't know what it was. But they were so when they were giving us, we had like a thing where it's like, here's how to sell. Here's how to be a good salesperson, and here's what you do. And then each level, if you sold X amount of wrapping paper, you would get just like little prizes. But there were like these little creatures, and they were fuzzy, and I thought they were called Weebles. I don't know, man. I that just came back to me, and I totally forgot about it.
I don't have any recollection of that. I do know the Weeble though, and they got to be pretty goddamn famous. Aaron, Idaho.
My buddy's friend his brother had a print shop, and he made all these "I support the troops" stickers during Desert Storm.
Jesus.
So we stole a whole bunch of them and walked around the neighborhoods in Idaho so everybody supports troops. We made a lot of money.
Holy shit. I would love that. Selling.
And then we went and played video games with it all.
Yeah, don't you want to show that you support the troops? The first documentary that was ever done, I believe, in this country, may be wrong about that, but it's still fascinating to watch. It's down south, and these dudes selling expensive Bibles door to door. And, the fact that they even had cameras set up was a very difficult thing back then. And to this day, it's one of the most fascinating documentaries I ever saw.
I've never seen that. I definitely want to watch it.
I'll try to get the name of it for you. If you even go to best documentaries of all time, Chris, it'll be loaded somewhere. The feeling of when the sale goes down, fantastic. You only get that in certain businesses. Obviously, it's normally something that's a little more high end. The car business, and they don't have the bonuses in car businesses as when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Well, you could make a lot of money selling cars. You could make a lot of real estate is like that now. That feeling of boom, the sale has happened. There's very few things in life that feel that good.
That's interesting you said that because, all right, so I was in a used car place. This was like a year ago. And I remember being like, did they want us to buy a car?
Yeah.
Do they care? Or, like, if we said we don't want this, they didn't have anything of, oh, but you know you'd love this. And I was remembering when I was a kid, I was with my mom when she would buy a car.
Yeah.
And I remember the pushiness,
Yeah.
oh, but you got to have this. And, oh, if you're not in love with this, I know you're going to love this. There was none of that. And I was wondering, is it this particular place? Or do people just not do that anymore?
All right, look at this. This got sent to me. This is something I would have loved to sold when I was a kid. In the Jewish community, there is something called a lox box. A lox box. Once a year, the kids show up with a box of bagels, lox, juice, and of course, schmears for everybody.
Nice.
On a Sunday morning. Holy shit.
100%. That would be an instant
if a fucking
sale.
lox box showed up at my house.
100%. That's an easy sale right there.
Every weekend.
Kira wants to help you out, Gail. Go ahead, Kira.
It's Kyra. Hey,
What's the difference?
So what we called them wuzzies, those little fuzzy things you were talking about, the wuzzles or wuzzies that you got for fundraising with the eyes and the feet.
Yes, that's it. 100%.
Yeah, my brother had a collection of them, so that's how I remember.
Is that it? Do you see the picture?
Yes,
Fuzzy
it's
wuzzy?
it's very similar to that. It wasn't exact that, but that's exactly like they had little googly eyes, they had feet, and for some reason they were measured of a good salesman. Like if you're like, are you this level of the
Yes.
wuzzy? Oh my god, now you've got 5 wuzzies. They were just like a representation, and they were cheap, and we felt like we were winning something.
All right, I'm going to send you into the pretty good prize closet.
Yeah.
Mike, Delco.
Hey, Ron, we used to sell cookbooks for the boys' club, and the women would buy them up like crazy.
Cookbooks is an excellent door-to-door
That's a good
thing
one.
because I even think most cookbooks, you happen to be in a bookstore looking for something else, and then you see a cookbook, or sometimes you'll see somebody on TV. You're like, oh, that looks good. Is that easy to make?
That's why I think it's a good gift, because I've never just went, I need to buy a couple cookbooks for myself. But if someone gifts me one that's really nice,
Yeah.
I always think it's good. But nobody just like will go out and buy them. But if someone showed up at your door, look
Yeah.
at this nice cookbook, wouldn't you like all these recipes?
Here's the 2 things I want in a cookbook. Number 1, pictures. I don't want illustrations.
100%.
I want pictures. 2, I like a little backstory of how you came up with this. Was it your grandmother's? Was it an aunt's? Is this from a certain fucking valley in Italy? I'd like to find out why we're looking at this food. I just don't want to see a list of the food. I want to feel part of it. And that is why celebrity cookbooks sell and celebrity chefs sell. Because
Right.
they know how to backstory it, not just give you the recipe.
And you're right. You need a nice, glossy, shiny, beautiful picture of
I
the
love it.
food. You don't want to see dull, or you skip like there's only 1 or 2 pictures in it. I need a picture for every fucking recipe. Because that was my favorite thing as a kid. My grandmother had a lot of them, and my favorite thing to do would be like, do this, and it was like, would you rather eat this or this? And then I would like do the verses between each page.
I'll tell you who put out a very nice celebrity cookbook, and he came by and did the show, Stanley Tucci. And I regifted his books to people. Stanley Tucci, he's got the Italian background. He
Mhm.
knows where he came from. He's into fresh stuff. And he took pictures from his own house up there in Westchester. And he's got like a fucking brick oven in his backyard that he makes pizza in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like a luxury I can't even fathom.
This is the thing that people, this is when fucking cooking and eating is really fun. When the kitchen is big enough, or you're out in the backyard, that everybody can be together, you're cooking and eating while you're doing it. The kitchen isn't in the other room, and then you fucking walk out into this room and everybody sits down, but I was watching TV. No, the cooking takes place in the room everybody wants to be in. And you're gossiping, or you're listening to music and you're singing. And if you have a backyard oven like that, forget about it. You're
Yeah,
fucking
that's
grilling
the best.
out there, you're baking, it's great.
I had a friend who his family was Italian, and They were farmers, and the grandfather and the grandmother both cooked, and they wanted to both do things their own way. And he made his shed into like another kitchen. So they had 2 kitchens, and it was like a his and her kitchen. And then he would be like, all right, I'm getting out of here. And then he would just like go in the backyard and start making sauce.
Jesus, that sounds fantastic.
Like that was his version of a man cave, was his own private kitchen.
Look, a man cave should have a place to fucking make sauce in it. Tom, New York, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, Bennington?
Cool,
Long-time fans. I coached Little League with a guy, and his thing was, out of the Bad magazine, he was selling Sacred Hearts of Jesus to sick and desperate people, and made a lot of money doing that.
So you could move the Jesus stuff a lot better in those days, because, you know, in my neighborhood, everybody loved Jesus, but now you have people, not only do they not love Jesus, but they're offended if somebody else loves Jesus. It's not as easy to just walk around. Do you ever find the name of that movie?
Salesman, 1968. About 4 Bible salesmen in the South.
I didn't know it was just called Salesman.
It was called, that's the one I found, Salesman.
No, I think you got it. Who directed it?
I'll find the director.
What do you mean you find a director? It's right there on the IMDb.
I wasn't on IMDb.
It's a famous guy.
It was Albert Maysles.
Maysles, yes. The Maysles brothers have made all kinds of great stuff.
That's
That's
awesome.
it.
I'm going to watch it.
And you can see, like, and when everyone thinks of the 60s, they think of hippies, blah, blah, blah. That was like maybe 1% of the country.
Right.
The other percent were these really, it was still very raw. The country was still very raw. Even when it came to stuff like style or the way people treated each other, it was a different fucking world. Mike, Utah, Mike.
Yeah, when I was younger, in the 70s, my older sister ordered from some backlog magazine those little smiley face air fresheners. I don't know if you remember those in the 70s.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'd go door to door, and you didn't pay anything up front to the company that sent you the whole bunch of these, and we'd just go door to door and sell them, and then never send the money back in, and then that's how we'd eat lunch and dinner and whatnot.
So you would actually say, well, you order these things, but you're not even paying off your order.
No, they just send it to you for free.
Well, didn't they cut you off?
I don't know. I guess we'd probably do different names or something, or we'd just, pull a Chris Stanley and just not even pay.
Oh
pay
yeah,
for it,
that's certainly a way to be. There's no doubt about it. But congratulations, air fresheners. It's an interesting idea to sell door to door. I don't know, and I feel for kids that they can't do that now. Everyone thinks that they would be fucking sucked inside.
Yeah, I wonder like when that cutoff was, because I feel like it was one of those things where like I remember I did it, and then it was like a little bit like, oh, well, I don't know, and I'm like, please let me sell door to door.
You were just in your neighborhood, though,
yeah,
right?
we only did like a couple blocks in my neighborhood.
I'd be everywhere. I fucking love to go up to somebody's house. Loved it. What the hell's going on in there anyway? I'll know the secrets of it all. And you know what? I'll make this fucking sale and prove myself as a person. Let the world know. This young man, he's got something going for him. You know what I mean? There's a friendliness and there's a trust. You can trust me with this Christmas candle. Have a Merry Christmas now, will you?
I'm much like an adult. I have a job.
Let's go over here to, here's Bob. Bob, what's up?
Hey, those chocolate bars you were talking about earlier, I think what you're thinking of are the world's finest. If
World's
that rings
finest.
a bell.
Well,
And then
sometimes
the
here's
other
what would happen. They would put the name of the local school on it, or the band name, or the football team name.
Hey, I got a cookbook to recommend, the Confederacy of Dunces cookbook.
What?
And you probably recognize the title of the book.
First of all, it's my favorite book in the whole world. It's also Gail's favorite
fantastic.
book.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Check it out. You'll love the cookbook.
What? Who put this out, though?
I don't. You'll have to Google it, but I got it for my daughter this past Christmas, and she loves it. I could never get her to finish the book, but she loves the cookbook.
Is she done with the cookbook? Have her send it to me. Thanks so much, Bob. Appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, take care.
Peace. Confederacy of Dunce's cookbook.
Is it just like foods that Ignatius would eat?
Bad for your heart?
Yeah, food's inspired by Ignatius and his cohorts, according to the book.
Look up that chocolate bar and see if that's the one. Oh, yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
Similar.
I recognize the, because I remember it being long like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the kids selling M&M peanuts here, saying for it's a basketball
Mhm.
team?
It's great. For my
I love
basketball
this kid.
team.
It's like fucking $5 for a little fucking dollar thing of M&M peanuts. But sometimes I'm like, they could be jacking people. This is just a better way of hitting someone over the fucking head with a steel pipe.
A bunch of my buddies ended up selling knives for a knife company.
Oh, yeah.
Well, all young men seem like they end up in the knife business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had friends who did it, and I remember a friend of mine in high school got into the knife business. And then I remember he was like, he asked for everyone's like parents' contact so he could like go to them.
Yeah.
I remember finding it very weird. It was like, my mom's like, I bought a bunch of knives from Kevin. I'm like, ugh. Why are you hanging out with Kevin? It's
Here's
weird.
the thing. So you had, it's probably a second cousin of yours. And I've never met this kid, neither of you. But you've met it's Holly's.
Oh, yeah, I met him once, just only once.
So he calls up your mom and he goes like this, I'm selling these knives. He goes, I'm not good at it. He goes, can I just call you one day and give you the pitch just so it looks like at work that I'm doing this?
Mm-hmm.
So she goes, yeah, okay, sure. Call me tomorrow at 3. And she ends up buying 2 boxes of knives off them. And these are fucking expensive knives. These aren't
I
cheap
know.
knives.
Yeah.
And she goes, it was so cute. He did his pitch and I do and then, at the end of it, I'm like, we don't have enough steak knives. And so I bought it. I go like this. The pitch was the day before that you're a nice aunt that he can practice his pitch on. You got pitched twice. But I love the knives. I think they're fantastic. I like good, sharp knives in the house.
I know. It's very frustrating. And when you get a new knife and you're like, I've been living so shabby before this.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe the way I've been sawing.
I feel like I've been cutting steak with safety scissors. By the way, I'm going to say this to every teacher in America. Safety scissors are fucking useless. Okay? They don't teach anything. They teach kids they hate paper. Give kids good sharp scissors and teach them how to be careful with it.
I
Not
hated
so
those.
jabby.
I hated those plastic things.
Not even the dull metal.
Yeah.
Dull metal, fuck you.
Shitty rounded metal fucking. I think
Yes.
it's awful.
It's more safety than it is scissor. But if you have a sharp knife, sharp scissors, you've got the correct tools. And what are you going to do then? The correct job. That's what you want to fucking start and teach kids. The correct job. Good, sharp fucking knife changes the kitchen experience. People who don't know how to cook or don't like to cook don't have the right knives, they don't have the right pans, they don't have the right spatulas, and they're wondering why their fucking food comes out shitty. And something else they do. Everyone who says they can't cook walks away from the fucking stove. They go, I put on this and I was watching TV and it burnt. Yes, that would happen to any human being. What if it was a ball game and the coach wandered away during the fucking ball game, came back and go, wait, how are we losing 4-1? You would say that's a bad coach. You're a bad cook. Stay in and do the job that you're doing.
I had a roommate 3 times. I had to be like, you've burnt this because people who cook don't walk away from food. She would just like go in her room, just be like on the internet.
They think
I'm like,
cooking.
What's that smell?
Yeah.
Oh God! I forgot I was cooking.
You know where that doesn't happen? In a fucking professional kitchen. The fucking chef doesn't put on his food, then go and watch the rest of the fucking TV show. Vince, Delaware, Vince.
Hey, I was going to tell you guys, when I was 12, I was a Boy Scout, and we sold light bulbs. So on my street, I would just go out of my house and go house to house kind of selling light bulbs. And when they would open the door, if it was a like high school girl or college girl or even like a single mom at home that was attractive, and they'd smile and listen to my pitch, as a dumb 12-year-old, I always thought, I'm going to get laid. Vince is going to have sex with this girl today.
You always thought to yourself, they're not interested in the product, they're interested in me. That's because you were selling yourself, young man. That's a good idea. Mark, Chicago.
Hey, even a gacked out Leota made his brother spit near the stove and stir the sauce all afternoon.
Thank you very much.
He knew better. And the other thing, Ron, is that salesman doc that you were talking about. The Armisen, Seth Meyers, and Bill Hader documentary. Now they spoofed it. It was so good.
Let me tell you something. If you're a fan of that, Fred Armisen was on a show last night called Finding Your Roots. And I'd love to do something with Chris Stanley because we've got to figure out the mystery of who the Jews were.
Yeah.
These people will use DNA, public records, all this stuff to help. Fred Armisen is on there. It looks like a fake documentary now. His grandfather, right? His grandfather was a famous choreographer and dancer in Japan.
What?
Fred doesn't know this. They show pictures. It looks like a young, little, slightly more Asian Fred Armisen doing dance steps, right? His grandfather went to Nazi fucking Germany entertaining the Nazis.
Whoa!
What the fuck? Was on the front lines dancing for the troops. And Fred is like, yeah, I guess if you're in a foxhole, what you really want is somebody doing an interpretive dance. This thing was insane. This wasn't a great. This was his fucking grandfather. And it's crazy how much he looks like Fred Armisen.
That's so funny, dude. I have to see that episode.
Another.
It does sound like a fake.
They ran 3 people on this last night. Fred Armisen, Carly Simon, and from Astoria, Queens, Chris Walken.
That's great.
And Walken, bakery business, moved to Astoria, Queens, basically opened up the same bakery that he grew up in, and that stayed in the family for 60 years. And his Astoria at that time was a real melting pot of people, blah, blah, blah. His family stayed behind in Germany, his grandfather's brother. One of them was brought in, was part of the fucking SS and all this, was basically one of the bad guys from Schindler's List.
Wow.
And Chris is like, we never talked about it, but it was pretty apparent something like that had happened. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine that knowing that you're in this country, you're an American, and we're fighting a war against your own brother? You know what I mean? And all the people that you grew up with, and you're hearing about all these atrocities, and you know, if you didn't move, you would have been one of those people doing those atrocities.
Dude, that's
You know
so
what I mean?
wild.
He wasn't even just like a guy on a thing. He was the guy who came. You know what I mean? He was the fucking knock of the door. Crazy. And those whole shows, they're just amazing because here's Chris Stanley, 18% Jewish, never heard the story in his life.
Not once.
So maybe we could hire somebody who could trace your family's roots to go back through the records.
That'd be great.
To find out who those people are and why it was kept from you.
Yeah,
why this thing was kept
secretly
from you.
Jewish.
Always straight Irish, maybe a little English is what they would talk about. Nothing about being gypsy from Lithuania.
Yeah.
My dad did not like Jewish people. He was a bad person.
But maybe this was on your mom's side.
It had to have been.
And then your dad told you that you were Native American and probably black, and you were neither of those. 0%.
0.0.
There's a lot of fucking people. I'm going to say this. There's a lot of truckers who claim that they're part Apache.
Specifically.
They
Apache.
always say they have no one ever says, oh, we're also Lenape. You know what I mean? They never pick any of the more timid tribes. They she's part Cheyenne. Was she? A lot of black dudes claim that they got Indian in them too. A lot of black dudes. Never hear it from a black woman. Interesting how people are with their ethnic background. Vito, you believe you're 100% Italian?
I believe I'm 100% Italian. And I'm afraid there's a piece of me that's afraid if I went and searced, I'd find out I wasn't. And that would open up.
Why would you be afraid? Wouldn't you be fascinated? Wouldn't you enjoy the hell out of it?
I don't know. I like the whole 100% Italian thing.
That's
Why?
boring. You want to be like, come on, I'm a 5th Jew.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I mean, more.
I'm a mutt over here. I'm a mudblood.
I mean, I guess like there's a piece of me that's like you should learn where you come from, but then again, like I love just being Italian. Like I like that it's 100%. I like that I fall into that one category.
Now I want you to take it.
Yeah,
because I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, you gotta take it. You may be. But here's what you don't understand. Italy is next to Greeks and Yugoslavia and France. You know what I mean? Like Italians aren't 100% Italian. That's the fucking weird thing.
Okay.
Europe is as fucking close to the other countries you are to Connecticut and Jersey. Like, I would think that you're all New Yorker, but you got a lot of fucking Jersey blood in you.
I do.
You got a phenomenal amount of Jersey blood in you. Well, imagine in Italy, that's like looking at Greece.
Yeah.
They could chuck a fucking rock, hit a Greek guy right in the forehead.
I'd be okay with finding out I was part Greek. I could welcome
You
that
just
into my.
went from 100% Italian to the Greek.
But once you brought Greek into it, I like the Greek people.
Greek is acceptable.
Greece is the word to him. He honestly thinks because he thought John Travolta was part Greece. I was talking to somebody the other day who they're like, John Travolta might be the greatest actor because the first movie that he did, he became a movie star and everybody accepted him. I'm going like, this is what happens in this fucking country. They don't understand. Before he did Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta was a fucking sweat hawk, okay? He was Vinnie Barbarino. Barbarino. This fucking Italian kid was so big with Italians. By the time that they went to do Saturday Night Fever, they had to fucking shut down streets because girls were screaming for him before the movie even shot at all. And all the boys in Brooklyn wanted to fight him and the other actors.
Really?
Yeah. Because it had that Bye Bye Birdie fucking thing. They said a lot of times the Italian boys would just come up and start fucking up the sets and stuff.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
You fucking making fun of us, bro.
You're taking our women.
So, no, he didn't fucking explode to that. The fucking Welcome Back Kotter was massive. Massive. Think of like, Chris, what's the biggest fucking TV show you could think of in the history of the world?
Oh, MASH.
Okay, it wasn't that big. He had to go out of his way. I mean, he went back to the same era, and we'd be able to literally say, look, how high. Now, I was trying to get him to compare against today. He's not going to do that. He's going to go, no, you went back to, you pulled the fucking MASH card right at the start of this.
You're happy that you see
You know what
MASH?
this is like, Chris?
What's that?
If we started a date and you're like, I'm not sure, but I might have AIDS. You know what I mean? There's nowhere to go from that point on.
I thought ever.
I know you thought ever, Chris, but what I'm trying to say is this. I tried to
They ruined
bring
his
you
fun.
in.
I
I tried to
understand.
bring you in to
I
show
appreciate
you how
that.
big John Travolta was and to prove a point to this guy from Brooklyn who doesn't even seem to know his own borough. By the way, I got in with people last night. Some of them thought that fucking Yonkers was a borough. I go, it's not.
Who said that?
These crazy fucking people.
It's not a
that
borough.
meet. And they go, okay, it's an outer borough. I go, no, it's not an outer borough. The fucking every borough but Manhattan is an
Yeah.
outer borough.
There we have one inner, the rest are outer, and you're not one of them.
Yonkers is upstate. It's a place to pick apples. It's a place to spend a few days.
Place
enjoying
to get
yourself.
lost.
Yeah. I'm going all the way upstate to Yonkers.
As far as you can go.
Beautiful there this time of year.
The Racino and the Good Times Room.
I love the name.
Good Times Room.
It's a room in which you can have good times.
I literally started the fucking show with, is this the Bronx or Yonkers? And let the bedlam just fucking take place. We came close to a fist fight. I almost sent you guys a text last night saying I wish you were here to see this nuttiness before I even started. But then I'm like, I really didn't invite you guys. So.
You would have liked to have been there.
I know. Do you know that Lifesaver? It's because the first person who invented Lifesaver may have been a doctor, but I'm not sure. By putting a hole in this candy. You don't know the story of Lifesavers, Chris?
No.
So people had hard candy. And babies, toddlers would choke on it all the time. This hole keeps them from choking because even if it gets stuck in their throat, there's a hole for them to breathe through.
Holy shit.
AKA a life saver.
It will
a
save your
saver of lives.
How is it not the only candy then? I feel like when that comes out and all these kids are dying from all this hard candy eating.
First of all, slow yourself down. That's not true what you're saying. Kids have children's candies now. We don't just give them a hard candy.
All right. But I'm saying, I feel like no other candy would have survived in the time of when this lifesaver first debuted.
You're not making sense. You're not making sense at all. This was the end of the story. The thing is,
no, but all right.
I gave you this is why kids aren't choking on hard candy. Because now they can have a lifesaver, a saver of life.
So this is the pre-lifesaver candy environment where there's just hard candy, no holes in it. Kids are choking left and right. So someone comes up with the idea, hey, we'll make a hard candy that's still delicious like hard candy, except when these kids eat it, they're not going to choke to death. Right?
What are you talking about? Everything that's already been done. It's all fucking done. Why are you still on this?
But why wouldn't the other fucking hard candy should have went out of business?
He wants to know why butterscotches aren't shaped like circles.
You can get a butterscotch lifesaver.
It is a thing.
Okay. Look, let me tell you this right now. Kids used to choke on pastry. Guy came up with a donut. So it's stuck in your throat. You can breathe right through that hole. Why do you keep going? Why can't you just let something... Why does it go straight to I have AIDS with you, no matter what the conversation
Stop
is?
yelling that you have AIDS in the middle of every conversation.
You radio AIDS is what you are.
Jesus.
That's your new nickname.
He actually said to me, do you think that this is the golden AIDS of radio? I go, no, Chris, you've got two things. You're pushing them together like you're fucking hard candy. You mind if a fucking adult has hard candy without there being a hole in it?
No.
Sometimes I want to hold this fucking candy.
Yeah.
Just sit there like an adult.
I like a nice solid Jolly Rancher every now and then.
I don't like anything about a Jolly Rancher.
I don't like what they do to the
Love
teeth.
it. Cherry Jolly Rancher.
No, they get too stuck to the teeth.
So good.
I hate it.
I am getting old enough that butterscotch tastes delicious to me, though. I can't get
So
out of
buttery.
That. Yeah. And scotchy. I mean, buttery's great, but without the scotch, if it was just a butter candy or a butter beer, as Harry Potter had. That Harry Potter seems to be taking off.
I know. Kids are crazy
they're moving
about
the
it.
books. They sold over 700 books last year.
What?
Huh?
That's a lot of books.
For you. We got a break. Who's coming in later?
Chrissy Chla is coming in later.
I'm getting out of here before she gets I can't take her excitement level. Do you love her?
I do. I love Christy so much.
Does she play the cello? I mean, that would be the smartest thing. If she came out in her stand-up just playing the cello. I'd go crazy. Right back. Bennington Show. Chris doesn't like to promote it or make promos. Because you know what, Chris, you're proud of yourself and you got a lot of pride. But too much pride. Come out and see the Gilbert Gottfried Unmasked. Gilbert Gottfried Unmasked.
That's happening Wednesday, November 1st at 6 p.m. with director Neil Berkeley. That's at the Village Underground here in New York City. Go to the ibang.com for a chance at free tickets.
Jimmy, you're on Bennington.
Hey, Ronnie, I just wanted to let you know I was at the show last night. You absolutely killed it, first off. And I just want to give you, watching you try to teach those people about geography was like trying to teach my 7-year-old about geography. They were a bunch of degenerates. How do you not know Yonkers from the Bronx?
Dude, I got to tell you, that audience was so bizarre, but so fun. And I didn't want to, I only kind of mentioned it yesterday at the end of the show, because I really just wanted to go out and work to gamblers and see what the experience was like. And it paid off in spades. I mean, they were characters in that room.
You had one side of the room against the other side of the room. You try to combine everybody with unity, but it just wasn't happening.
No, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen at all. And do we not have like every ethnic group that you could possibly have?
We went through every single ethnic food group. By the end of the night, it was hilarious. You were bonkers for Yonkers.
And you can't get no roast porks anymore. we were complaining about the lack of Spanish Harlem and white kids moving in. And it was me and basically old school blacks and old school Puerto Ricans. And some really edgy white woman named Babe, with her black friend, brother Kevin, and her. And
I love this audience.
She's retired. It was insane, and
you had to be there. It was great. It was.
And when I came off stage, literally people were going crazy and they didn't want me to leave and shit. Because but I'm not saying that to brag about me. It's just to say this can't happen.
You should, Ronnie.
The people who run the place go like this. Yeah, no, this is a tough room. People don't normally, but they don't throw themselves into it as much as I did.
Right.
They stumbled into that room not knowing what happened, and they walked out with smiles on their face, Ronnie.
They walked out stopping me. Like they all wanted to meet me after. It was fucking nuts.
It's fucking great.
That's awesome.
Glad I got to see it, Ronnie. You were the best.
Peace. I found this out, that even if I would have tried to tell people, hey, come and buy tickets, because it says it's a $25 show, but they go, we need you to sign up here, and then it's only $5. So Omi went there, and they said, you got to sign up and be a card carrier for the casino.
Oh, I see.
Shit.
Gotcha.
Dude, these fucking people, they were the funnest, craziest people you ever seen in your life. And I kept walking around going, the tragedy in this room. You know what I mean? If you haven't experienced great tragedy, you're heading towards it at an unbelievably fast pace. But, yeah, you got to sign up for the club card. And it was so much fun. But you know what's funny about life? You can't keep that enjoyment. Within hours, like, other things come up. You know what I mean? You're like, I was driving up there going, oh, this is going to be a terrible experience. I literally was saying to myself, do not take this personal. You can't make these people have a good time. You know what I mean? You can't. And I saw the first two guys. Can't. The kid that emceed, right? He's a very funny young guy. And he's a big, broad, he looks like a Muslim, but he's Italian. But he looks like, he's going to run into a place with a fucking vest on. He said he was a kid listening to Ron and Fez, and Fez was that thing for him to hold on to.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Fez was that there's somebody out there.
Yeah.
And that was like the sweetest thing
That is so sweet.
in the world. Yeah. And I think now Chris gives that to people who won't pay their bills or.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. I never really thought about that, Chris, but you're like a mouthpiece.
But if
for
I
those
thought if I
people.
was some kind of a basic fucking know nothing shithead, I'd go, wait, there could be a hot Costa Rican for me someday. You know what I mean?
No, nothing shithead.
What's that?
No, nothing shitheads. I think I can speak to them.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is you ended up winning the game.
I did.
I'm going to try to explain the room to you last night, this gambling racino. We had what I would call Puerto Rican Mitchell Walters there, right?
Nice.
Then there was black Mitchell Walters hanging out. But there was a lot of women Mitchell Walters at the same time. Everyone in my audience looked like they had a problem walking. Now, also, you come and seat yourself. There's a cash bar that you walk up to.
Okay.
So people go a line like at a fucking wedding.
Oh, no.
Doing this.
No servers?
No servers. I had a server for some reason. And I was like, no, I don't want anything.
But you can help some of these
and
folks.
he would be back in 5 minutes later. Would you like something? They wanted to prove, oddly, that I was a VIP. I got some blue tickets and red tickets.
Nice.
I'm like, I don't want any of these tickets. I give them more to homie, but he's going to end up hugging me in front of everybody. Well, I forget the movie, but if you say his name 3 times, what is that movie?
Beetlejuice?
Yeah, but there's another one. There's
Candyman?
like Candyman.
Oh,
That's the one I
yeah.
was thinking of. You say his name 3 times, he appears. Mitchell Walters. Mitchell, lock it up.
Where were you last night?
A racino in the Bronx and or Yonkers. This should be your gig. It's the Empire Casino.
Casino. I was there the first day they opened. How many years ago that was? It was crazy when they just opened.
Well, I'll tell you how many years ago you went with Sal Mineo. That's how many years ago it was.
Ronnie, I bet the new bet, you bet Yankees last night and Cleveland to tie after 5 innings. You get 8-1.
Wow. I didn't even know that you could go that odd with it.
I've never heard of that.
And then you have to play Yankees or Cleveland to win it. So if the game ends in a tie after 5 innings, you're automatically locked up.
Great tips.
Mitchell, I have to tell you, BL contacted me about Flats, and because she was concerned. She says Flats has been sad lately and hasn't answered her calls in a couple weeks. And I go, no one would answer your calls. You're a fucking nightmare. You're a crazy person. I did one text. He's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Oh. So you did the little Empire Casino. Very nice, right?
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
You should go and do this gig.
Too much traffic.
Yeah, there is a lot of traffic. There's a lot of traffic getting there, none coming back. All right, Mitchell. Talk to you soon. Go Yankees. All right, buddy?
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Peace.
the Yankees.
That Yankees game. Let me just tell you something. I guess was it the top of the ninth and Gardner is up to bat and had that, what I consider a baseball or National League fucking at bat, where you're just sitting there wearing down the pitcher. Foul after foul after foul. The tension is through the roof. Close-ups on women just fucking pulling the skin on their face.
Freaked out.
They're fucking ready. They're near tears. And this guy just won't give up. He's slapping. And then finally, a little fucking lenient that scores 2 runs. And it was a thrilling moment. I don't like the Yankees. I don't give a shit about the fucking Indians. But the sport, that at bat, was as good as anything that a sport can deliver. And immediately, and this is another reason why you think of sports, I'm thinking of Hard Rock Johnny and Chris and Earl. Guys, at least one of them lives and dies with the Yankees. Earl.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chris is a fucking bandwagon jumper.
He is.
Never.
Johnny, we know how early he leaves everything. Remember how early he left the Guns N' Roses show?
Oh, yeah. It was like 6, 7 songs in.
Yeah.
When you're talking to yourself and there's nobody there. That's when they left after that, after Strange. Do you remember how early Strange was in that fucking set?
It was super early. I mean, and that was a long show, which was awesome. We got to see so much. I mean, I never thought
It was
that
like
they were
30
going to.
songs we saw.
I never thought they were going to play that long. It was awesome.
I find myself thinking about that show every once in a while.
It was so great. It was such a great night.
Strange. When you're talking to yourself. Chris, you got me the second part of that Rolling Stone documentary, right?
The link should have been sent to you.
Yeah, it was sent. I didn't hit it because I don't know whether you know this about this link.
Yeah.
They say once you hit it, if you don't start watching in the next 20 minutes, we turn it off.
Yeah.
So I have to fucking line myself up to commit.
And I've made that mistake too, where I thought that, like with screeners in the past,
I'll check it.
I thought that you check it. Oh, good, the screener works, and then you go back like, sorry, this link has already been used. And I have to be like, Chris, please give me another one. I don't know what I've
Chris
done.
sometimes he'll check the link for me here, and then that means I'm blocked out. And I don't want to fucking complain about technology. I hate technology. Honestly, I'd be happy if we went back to being cavemen. And if you wanted to listen to the show, you'd have to come to our cave and sit around our fire.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Cave show? Something we could do maybe in the
Hold
future.
on, Cave Show. I know a guy named Cave Dave, and I think I was the only one who called him that. I don't think.
I remember that name.
Yeah. He was, do you know he ended up doing time after we know him too for weed dealing?
No.
He told me how much weed he got caught in this, like, it was something weird, like a fucking station wagon. It wasn't even the type of thing that you're going to drive freight in. Like people act like, oh, weed doesn't matter anymore. You can still get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, enough of it. Yeah.
I always feel bad. Yeah, but even so, like,
I hate when you're just blaming dealers for stuff.
I'm not blaming the dealers. I'm saying.
I'm not talking to you, dude. I'm talking about
oh my God,
laws.
he's talking hypothetically.
You're
He's talking
paranoid.
about the Rockefeller drug laws, dude.
Look, I'm down with the Rockefeller fucking gangster crew that I run with. Rockefeller Records and Tapes. I remember when a record company had to add the name and tapes to their name.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think anybody felt the need to do that when fucking CDs came along.
And CDs.
Records and CDs and tapes and cassette tapes and some sheet music. How about how paranoid he is? He starts to yell like he's the guy. I thought that he was anti-weed. What is with you? You don't want to have a conversation. You just want fucking to scream, Chris.
I don't want to scream.
Look how contrarian that is by just yelling that when you just screamed moments before.
I thought I was defending myself.
Defending yourself from what? My conversation? You won't listen to another broadcaster who has a fucking producer who's just yelling stuff while he's talking. And then if I turn myself to you like I did today, and you're doing it now, you nod. If I go, oh, this is a one-on-one conversation with Chris, he locks up. He needs me to turn around and speak another way, and then he yells over it. I should be talking about weed right now, the crimes against fucking nature. Instead, I have to stop for what's in my room. This is why I'm at the Empire fucking Casino instead of the MGM Grand, ladies and gentlemen. And with the MGA Graham, you don't just get a free dinner, you get free breakfast as well. And that breakfast is 24 hours.
Oh.
But as I heard from Stephen Wright, not in a row. When you're talking to yourself and Johnny's on the phone. Hard rock. Johnny, good to talk to you, buddy.
I did not leave the game early last night. I watched the entire thing.
Now, I noticed that you weren't group texting.
I was.
Yes, I was.
Not until I came in the ninth inning.
Yeah, I mean, I was, I figured you were out and about, busy.
Oh, I was, Johnny.
See?
But Chris was there.
Chris is never there. And Gail, forget it. Gail's even less there.
Here's the thing.
I get a lot of flack for that. I pop in now and again.
I have found this out.
I pop in when I'm ready, Johnny.
That's fine. I understand.
I have found out, like with me, Chris, and Johnny, I am the straw that stirs the drink. They're not comfortable just talking between them, but they're comfortable if I'm there. But if I'm not there, those two aren't like writing shit back to each other.
You and Johnny wouldn't have just like a private
No, we have to be on a group text.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I get group text bullied sometimes. Like I don't do it enough.
That's for me. Yeah, that's purely me, and I apologize.
I will only say something if Chris is at brunch on a Sunday because I find that funny when the game starts.
He is brunching a lot.
Because I don't necessarily watch all the games. I watch some of the games, not all the games.
You gotta get Red Zone, Gail.
Wait, I'm just finding this out. This Meyer, is it called Meyerowitz stories?
Meyerowitz.
Why is this already on Netflix? I thought this was going to the theaters, didn't you?
What is this?
Yeah, I had no idea it was going to Netflix.
This is another time that they're saying Adam Sandler is doing a fantastic acting job.
Oh, yeah.
And Dustin Hoffman's in it, and people are blown away, and it was at Cannes. But tomorrow night, I'm being told it premieres at Netflix. Is that wrong? Look at me.
I'm looking it up.
It says,
October 13th, Netflix.
I am shocked by that. I thought this was going into the theaters. I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that because I did hear he's getting a lot of good attention on it. Which I don't know why they're so surprised. We've seen him do a great dramatic role.
Have you seen some of the last Netflix movies that he's done?
I have, yeah.
Yes. They've been terrible. So I'm going to be part of the pleasantly surprised that he's back. But I guess he can't get an Oscar nomination for this.
You can't get an Oscar nomination if it's straight to Netflix?
It just needs to play on one screen with an audience. So if it premieres somewhere else, it gets an Oscar.
So here's what I'm saying. This is what movies are going to be now. just playing on one screen. Nobody knows about it, and then going straight to Netflix. Because movies as we know it, the theater thing, done.
It's playing in the city at 2 places tomorrow. You can go to Lincoln Plaza or IFC to see it.
I go both of those places, and thank you for looking up stuff that my show won't.
Which I'm guessing is probably going to happen. Which there's a 12:35 show, so which obviously you can't go to because you'll be on the radio. But that is probably before it debuts on Netflix.
Oh, when you're watching movies there, and sorry on Netflix.
Oh, I got to leave. Song's almost over.
I'm going to tell you the truth, Johnny, and I wouldn't have said this before, but you left right after the best song of the night. And it was, and it's not near, I always thought it was a little bit of a joke song to me because of the way he sings in it. But it was phenomenal to see live.
I have left a few other. I did leave. I will say that my probably best leave ever was I left after the 3rd inning of Derek Jeter's last game at Yankee Stadium.
Oh my
Jesus
God!
Christ!
but it was the Giants' home. It was the Giants' night. Giants had their first game of the season, and Giants trumped them that night. Although I guess in retrospect, probably would have been better to watch Jeter get the last hit at Yankee Stadium in his career and win a game.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been better.
I was still there though. I was there for a little bit.
Well, it's a wonderful story to tell when you're older. I was there for 1/3 of the game.
I did stay for the entire Game 6 when they won their last World Series. I was there for the entire game. I did not leave early.
And then bitched about it the whole way. Look at all this traffic.
No, I ran out right after the last out. I watched it from it was actually the coolest thing ever. I watched it from the scoreboard control room. I was like behind the scenes, watched the entire game, and then just as soon as they got the last out, I high-fived 2 people and ran out of the stadium, grabbed 2 World Series hats, and got on the subway.
Johnny and I went to the Olympics, and during the 100 meters, Usain Bolt, he leaves the 30-meter mark. He said, I want to get out of here. I go, Johnny, don't miss the last 70 meters.
I know who's going to win already.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, John. Is it traffic that you fear, Johnny?
No, I just, a little bit, I guess.
Are you
I don't
antsy?
fear it.
Are you an antsy sort?
No, I don't know what it is. I just, it's boring at times.
It's got to be traffic. It's got to be. You hate traffic.
I don't know if it's traffic.
That's weird to me. Now, does your wife, who loves Guns N' Roses, she's forced to leave?
No, her and I have this weird thing that, like, we've gone to, like, we went to a concert once. We were backstage with the band for probably an hour.
Yeah.
We didn't even see the first song. We just looked at each other they kicked us out of the dressing rooms because it was, the band wants a little private time before they go, and we just looked at each other and said, "Okay, let's go home." We didn't even see a singular song.
Who was the band?
That was Anthrax, actually.
Well, you could have left even earlier.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't stay, But
you know what? I don't mean to be disparaging, but I'd rather have Anthrax than see it.
Come on, they're nice fellas. They're my buddies.
Oh, such your buddies that you don't even fucking stay for.
You guys are real close.
Well, they don't know that. I mean, now if they're listening, they do. But
tell them, here's Johnny's quote. He'd rather have Anthrax than see it.
You said that, not me.
All right.
Benningtons.
Peace, buddy.
Have a wonderful day.
Jenny. Yeah. Bye, Jenny. See you, Blade Runner, Jenny.
Text you later,
I'm going to
Jenny.
definitely go this weekend. I'm going to go
Good, I'm
see
glad.
Blade Runner and see if it's worth all the hip I'm hearing about from people. When you're talking to yourself. Here's my ring thing. I want to get to everything before Chrissy Chla gets here. What was this story, Gail, that you were saying about trilogies?
So this pop culture writer had written that trilogies get exponentially worse. Makes the case, no trilogy, you're going to have a circumstance where the movies get better and better, or even stay to par.
Is he saying the second is worse than the first and the third is worse?
She's saying, that often, no matter what, by the third, you're getting a lesser product. So even in a circumstance where like, oh, I liked the second one, or the second one was almost as good, the third's going to drop tremendously. And by the end of a third film, you're always going to have a lesser product. It's a diminishing returns kind of situation.
I am closer to. No, I'm going to probably. You know what? I'm stopping being wishy-washy. I agree with this unknown woman. I agree. The films get worse.
Well, it made me think, have I ever even said I liked the third movie of a trilogy? And I don't even think I've so much as liked it, let alone loved it. I think across the board, you usually go, oh my God, I loved the first one.
I do have one. The third Godfather was so much better.
Really?
Than the first. That's my favorite.
Can't
by
believe
far.
that.
Yeah. I liked it because it was a parody. I
Right.
love the parody aspect of it. I can't think of one.
I can't think of one movie that, like, okay, obviously it'd be weird to say the third is the best one, but I wouldn't even say it's like barely not as good. You know what I mean? It's always a dramatic, like I think of a Back to the Future scenario. You could like one, maybe the second one, even if you want to, you could say, oh, it's not as good, but it's okay. Third one, massive drop.
You didn't think it was good where he went back to the Old West and put a fucking frying pan under his shirt?
No.
That didn't make you think to yourself, this is what this movie was about from the beginning.
I do not think
I would
so.
even think that the second Back to the Future is ridiculous and has nothing to do. I mean, what's the point of it? To teach us the fucking trials and tribulations of time travel? Is it a warning for us ever coming up with time travel? That was a lot to lay on the kids of the 80s. I don't watch any of the dragon movies.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
The Return of the King. Well, first of all, in the Hobbit trilogy, 100% correct. After the first one, those movies got dropped off terribly. Horrendously bad.
First of all,
Embarrassingly bad.
I saw the first one.
Yeah.
It was fucking horrifying.
The fucking next two, I can't even imagine. It's so bad. I can't believe they got made. It was unbelievably fucking bad, the next two in the Hobbit trilogy. Lord of the Rings, that's true too, because after the Two Towers was okay, and then the Return of the King was
I would say in the Star Wars world, the third one is embarrassingly bad too. That there's suddenly teddy bears fucking running. He tries to correct me with Ewoks. Please, dude. Why? Why do you want to fucking yell out, here's the truth to the joke? How does that fucking help?
It doesn't.
I will tell you this. I remember when I was a kid, everyone was so furious. I remember being a little girl and everyone was just like, Star Wars used to be awesome. These Ewoks stink. But I was so little that I was like, this is the only good part of Star Wars is when those teddy bears show up.
Yeah.
Because I was a little girl. So I'm like, what are they complaining about? The cutest part. But now I understand
Now
it.
you understand how embarrassing it was.
Now I get it. But as a little girl, I was like, why would we go off of the Ewokville? Why do we want to spend any time not with Ewoks?
And how about how it ends with a weird Ewok fucking dance and song?
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're singing down in Fraggle Rock.
Yes. And as a small female child, I was like, this is amazing. I love this. Like, I think there was even like an Ewok spin-off movie that I was like,
There were two.
I was like, this is as good as any Star Wars.
Dennis in Long Island.
Yeah, I just want to say that Rocky 3 and 4 are just as good as 1 and 2.
First of all, Rocky 1 is a great film. After that, they become increasingly bad movies. They even stop being films. The first Rocky is fucking heartbreaking and great. The second, third, fourth one is fucking fantasy.
Yeah.
Crazy fantasy.
In the fourth one, there's like 4 different montages. At one point, it's a montage of different montages from the past fucking 3 movies. It was insane.
Have you heard about Creed 2? Stallone is taking over. I'm really pissed about it.
Why?
Because
Why do you fucking care?
I like Ryan
I know,
Coogler.
you're an idiot.
I like Ryan Coogler. I think he's a really talented director.
He had to give this over, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Stallone obviously took over, so I'm guessing that means Ryan Coogler's done.
But I'm saying Ryan Coogler, the man that you fucking think is the next goddamn Francis Ford Coppola, had to say, no, give me some money and I'll leave this and let him keep doing straight to videos. I mean, this is your fucking heroes, Vito.
I mean, well, they could have taken them. It's not like he had any like they could take the movie from him. He doesn't own the character. Stallone, at the end of the day, owns the character, probably.
He owns the character of the fucking grandson of Creed.
Well,
You had to fucking sign off on that, dude. Think to yourself for 5 fucking minutes. And you know what? The next time that you tell me you didn't say bandana and Chris runs back and gets all this, I'm just making up. I don't care about it. I don't care about Creed. I don't care about any of it. I want to spin off of Paulie's robot.
I would definitely say that. And those will get exponentially better. Now, she also makes the argument that it works that way in film. However, book trilogies are not that way. And then she was going through, and I realized I have not read many book trilogies. But like Lord of the Rings, as the books, she feels like gets increasingly better.
I'd agree with
Not the case with movies.
Scott, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So this is kind of more than a trilogy, but this is a third in a series. What about Christmas Vacation?
Oh my God. I guess there is no such thing as alcohol poisoning. I guess you can be an alcoholic and continue to use the phone. Christmas Vacation is just a sloppy fucking mess. I wouldn't even call it a movie. It's a series of crazy sketches, I guess.
It is a series. It's not really quite a movie. But, here's the thing. You can't really compare those two. You might put Christmas Vacation on during Christmas time because it's like, oh, yeah, I'll have it on, I guess. But the first one is like an actually hilarious, funny movie. And then which one was Paris?
The second one, European Vacation.
I'm actually just sitting here, and even in films I like Before Midnight, no, I'm not even close to the other two.
Yeah.
Not even close. And even broke the format of what the other ones were about.
Diminishing returns.
We got a break, Chris? Is that it when you start to...
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
And why? And why do we have to break?
We need a break.
Announce our guest is what I'm trying to get you to do, buddy.
Chrissy Chla is coming in studio. Chrissy's new show, It's Christy Bitch, debuts at Ars Nova on Saturday, November 4th. Go to arsnovanyc.com for tickets. On Twitter and Instagram, at Chrissy Chla.
Wonderful, Chris. Are you frustrated that your TV bill continues to change month to month? Dish heard you. And they changed it with the Dish 2-year TV price guarantee. New customers can get the channels they want at the same package price, guaranteed for 2 whole years.
That means 2 years of the TV you love at the same monthly price, guaranteed. No second-year price increase, no gotcha moments or unwelcome surprises. That's the Dish 2-year TV price guarantee, because only Dish is tuned into you. To learn more, call 1-844-CALL-DISH, go to dish.com, or visit a local retailer near you. Requires credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Taxes and surcharges not included. Other restrictions apply. For full details, 1-844-CALL-DISH. Dish, tuned into you.
Welcome back to Bennington.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Chrissy Chela's in studio.
Thank you so much.
Christy's new solo show, It's Christy Bitch, debuts at Ars Nova on Saturday, November 4th. Go to arsnovanyc.com for tickets. And Christy will be hosting Battle of the Divas with Mateo Lane on Tuesday, November 7th at Union Hall in Brooklyn as part of the New York Comedy Festival. UnionHallNY.com for tickets.
What happens at Battle of the Divas?
We pin 2 divas against each other. Usually ones that are popularly against each other, like Britney Spears versus Christina Aguilera. We have drag queens perform as the divas. And we have comedians debate which diva should reign supreme.
Oh, this is fantastic.
It's really fun. You know Mateo. He adores you guys. And him and I co-host it, and it's a blast. And we're doing it for the New York Comedy Festival this year for the first time, so we're so excited.
Now, who's everybody's all-time favorite diva?
Oh, my God.
Because I saw a show the other day, right? And this is a 20-year reign this person has had with hit songs all the time. And she does trapeze stuff. Pink is much more impressive than people give her credit for.
Yes, she has kind of maintained it, and I think she stayed away from a lot of the negativity. She was able to maneuver through that.
It's interesting.
World.
She has songs that I consistently don't really love, yet I know every word to.
Yes. She's just good enough. She's just good enough. And she acted punk, but looked and sang pop. And, she's not pop enough. She's not soul enough.
Yeah.
And also, this is the other thing about Pink, and it's my favorite thing, and it's a Philly thing. She lies about everything. She lies about where her name came from, her background. Because the thing is, she's just a working professional.
Wait, is lying a Philly thing?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. It's a lie. Like, I don't think Ben Franklin did shit. If I'm going to be totally honest,
some other guy did it. He took credit.
He never put a key on a fucking string of a kite. That never happened.
That's the funniest thing ever. Pink's mediocre and a liar.
Yeah, but she's great and belongs there. Now, I'll say this for Vito. You kind of grew up in the time of the divas where they were all established. Who's your favorite?
Oh.
Like, right now, I'm a big Katy Perry person. Like, I fucking love Katy Perry. I like all of it. Like, Roar. I love the song Roar.
Now, see, again, this is the thing. Katy Perry's like Pink. Like, why do you have to do so much? Why are you risking your life?
Right.
Why can't you just sit and sing?
Right.
You know, like,
you don't.
Diana Ross didn't get on a trapeze. She just sat there with two other chicks. I think if you're really good, it doesn't have to be a parade all around you.
Oh, I agree. Whitney Houston
Right.
didn't even dance.
Yes.
She just had the vocal cords, but I will tell you, the show we're doing November 7th is Katy Perry versus Taylor Swift.
So this is current
diva.
Yeah, that is current people.
Yes,
Like,
it's
because
very
a lot of times
topical.
you're like Barbara Streisand against, but
Yes.
that's going to be a good one.
What do you think, Ron?
Well, I think to be a diva, it isn't just about music.
Yeah.
Yes.
But to me, Taylor Swift is such a fucking mystery. I don't know how she's as big as she is.
It confuses me.
One of my old PDs, and he runs kind of hip, edgy rock channels, took his daughter to Taylor Swift, and he came back and said, the show's amazing.
No
He goes, it's amazing.
Really?
He goes, it was in a stadium. He goes, everybody was going nuts. And then he started to go nuts with them. He just gave in. And let's switch.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah, it is surprising to me too. Because I don't get it at all.
neither.
I don't understand it, but it is there.
The newest single, look what you made me do. I heard that and I was like, I don't think so.
She was trying to be Beyonce, but it's like, you're from Pennsylvania.
Right.
Taylor
doesn't
Swift.
work.
You're not fooling anybody.
You should be lying if you're from Pennsylvania.
I don't disagree. Like, I get the reason of why you would want to be a watered down Beyonce. I understand, but I don't feel. Now, Kelly Clarkson did a watered down Beyonce, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, I love Kelly Clarkson.
I think it was fucking awesome, and I was like, I get that you're doing Beyonce, but I don't care. I like it.
Here's what I love about Kelly Clarkson. She doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She does not care.
She doesn't give a fuck at all.
She's a grilled cheese away from being Mama Cass, and she don't fucking
I love
care.
it.
I love it too.
I fucking love it.
American Idol should have stopped after her.
They never came that close
No,
again. They had
never
the country girl.
You know what? They had Carrie Underwood.
Yes,
That would be a good Battle of the Divas.
Yeah, I would love that.
Perfect.
American Idol edition.
And I think I've already made it clear what my vote is.
But that's going to be where you are in the country. Because in the middle of the country, they love
But
that girl.
I
Jesus,
don't-
take the wheel.
I don't think that there's you can hold a candle to the Since You've Been Gone. Like that is a pop icon song.
I agree.
Yeah, that song even got tried to. A lot of people tried to make that song over and over. But going back to Whitney Houston, you saying she didn't dance.
No.
And then she had a song, I Want to Dance with Somebody. And we actually said to our radios, no, you don't. You would be doing it. You can't blame it on the fact that you're single. Yeah.
She can't. That's
Just
the
can't.
problem.
Yeah. Now, how about in the terms of, the thing about the diva is it isn't just singing, and it's not even just acting or on stage.
Right.
Because Britney is still the girl of her era and always will be.
Yeah.
And they've thrown people who sing better, who write better, but who gets the press? Who do
Yeah.
people care about? It's Britney.
Well, my all-time I would say my all-time diva would be Diana Ross. And like Britney, I will say this, like about her, that's kind of fascinating. Because she comes out of like my favorite era of music, those girl groups of the 1960s. Yes. But she just stood out. She wasn't just one of the girls. She couldn't help but just like break free of that. Like she had that X factor about her. And there are even, you know, like the Supremes aren't even my favorite of the girl groups. And yet you cannot deny.
That's a good choice. Yeah. I think mine would be, and we've had trouble pinning her against someone. Yeah. I think I might talk to you about this, Gail, but Celine Dion.
Yes.
I think she's hysterical. I think she is so talented. I think she's consistent. She's a diva. I mean, she's a diva.
Do you remember what we came up with? It might have even been Molly who came up with it.
Yeah, who was
it? It was Elton John, and we thought they might be two interesting divas to put
because they're so both kind of so eccentrically.
Yeah. Because who do you put Celine?
She's not in a
Celine's up there with the Mariahs and the Whitneys.
Yeah.
I don't know who to put her against, but I love Celine. She cracks me up.
Now, let me just say this. In the all-time divas, my favorite moment took place in a movie. And that's when, with one more look at you, the great Barbra Streisand singing Christopherson's song, and then going in to that fucking song. And then she had that when her Canadian husband died. You know what I mean? When he died, she went out and sang and cried, and the place went fucking crazy. I'm like, this is the real world. Star is Born.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a great, and I'm not even a giant fan of hers, but that moment, I'm like, that's when you're saying, I'm giving my pain out to all of you, my extended family and friends.
Yes.
Now, Diana Ross and the Supremes, when I was a little kid and they came out, I would think of them as the ladies. The ladies came out because they were so elegant and they had the long gloves and all. And I wasn't familiar. Like, I lived in one neighborhood, the white neighborhood. The other neighborhood was the black neighborhood. There wasn't a mixing in our days. We were racist, but kept our neighbors. But I had it. My heart was pounding when I would see Diana Ross. And I was a little tiny kid, and I'd be like, oh my God, that's everything I want.
You know how you say that about like certain heartthrob boys who are like almost feminine looking? Yeah. She has like that doll baby face that why wouldn't you as a little kid see that as just pure beauty, where she's just like vulnerable, blinking doe eyes?
Yes.
And in those long gowns, she looked like she belonged in a box that you would open. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's like a literal Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She is, yeah.
She's phenomenal. That's a great
But the thing is, I think a lot of those people didn't know that they were being divas, and now the young girls come up going, I'm going to be a diva.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Oh, Beyonce had a hit song that I love called Diva.
Yeah.
And it was about, she's just like, I'm a diva. Guess what? I'm a diva. And that's what the pop stars do now. They just say it before it even has a chance to happen.
Are we in agreement that Adele came through the door a diva? She was just bigger than life? Or yeah,
100%. I love Adele.
It wasn't like a thing where I remember being like, oh, this Adele is getting more popular. Right. I just remember like people being like, you don't know Adele?
Exactly.
Adele was here one day, and we came up in the elevator with her sandwich tray. Mm-hmm. And do you remember what it was?
Yes, I believe it was ham and butter sandwiches.
Ham and butter sandwiches.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
That makes me love her even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to her at the end of her
she was
show
so
here.
sweet, and so she was walking down the hall, and I was passing her just at the same moment. And then she's just very real. She's going, thank you so much. Thanks, you're so nice. Thank you. You guys are great. Thanks. Thank you.
She was really...
It's really nice, though, that she's genuinely that nice.
She's just a regular kind of...
She is, yeah.
It looked like an EastEnder from the TV show.
100%.
But,
like
yeah, but what a voice.
Hilarious.
What a voice, still.
Yeah, and her songwriting and her albums are incredible.
Everything's great.
It comes from, like, I think both of her big major albums just came from heartbreak. The whole album's a big, you know.
Best thing they can have.
It's just,
that's the thing. Any performer is an unhappy personal life. unhappy as possible. That's why you don't see a lot of really wealthy kids that go into stand-up. You know what I mean?
Can I be honest? I hate that. I hate that truth. I hate when people are like, all comedians are damaged.
Yeah.
Why? Why do we all have to be damaged?
And yet-
Why is it that such humor comes from such pain?
Right. And don't think of yourself, think of your friends, and you're like, oh, that fucked up person. I mean, that poor... Richard Lewis came in here, he's had the most successful career you could ever think of. And because his phone wasn't working properly, his head was in a completely different, like, couldn't think of anything else than I got to go to the Apple store.
You were lucky if you got like 30 seconds before he started being like, my phone.
Yeah.
I just remembered.
And that's
so
the thing. His pain over that was wonderful. We were just laughing.
Very delightful.
Yes, like, thank you.
I didn't feel bad.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So nice.
We
Thanks.
never found out who Chris's diva is. Do you want to plug first, Chris? Is that it? Because I know you love to.
I want to let everyone know Chrissy Chilla's new solo show, It's Christy Bitch, debuts at Ars Nova on Saturday, November 4th. ArsNovaNYC.com for tickets. And Christy will be hosting Battle of the Divas with Mateo Lane on Tuesday, November 7th at Union Hall in Brooklyn as part of the New York Comedy Festival. UnionHallNY.com for tickets and more information.
Wow. Thank you
so
so much.
Who is your diva?
This lady was very popular with my mom growing up.
Oh, good.
Cher.
Oh.
I always liked Cher.
Yeah.
Love Cher. We
Plus
did
the
Cher
acting.
versus Madonna. And Cher came out on top. Yeah, I love Cher.
I mean, it's hard to beat Cher, though. It's hard.
And the acting. I mean,
Yeah.
Moonstruck.
Love
Yeah.
Moonstruck.
Cher's
Love
fucking
Moonstruck.
great. Yeah.
Here's the funny thing is Silkwood, right? I went to see Silkwood, and this is in the theater. When Cher's name came up, everyone in the theater laughed. Like they couldn't believe she was in a movie. And a year later, she won an Oscar for Moonstruck.
That makes me
But
so happy.
She goes through things where people think, all the divas have
Yeah.
a time where people think that they're a clown, no matter who you are.
No, they make fun of that butt cheek number that she wore. That was like a time
Yeah.
where they're like, she's crazy. Her
When you-
butt was out. Remember the
Yeah.
music video? Where
If I could turn back time. And you loved her?
Loved her. As a kid.
Yeah.
And from the movie Mask also, when she was like a biker chick.
Rocky Dennis's.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I loved what was it? Mermaids?
Love
Yes.
Oh, I loved that movie so much.
Love that movie.
She was so good in that.
I loved her when she was with Sonny and Cher.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the show.
Here's what you missed out on, though. The breakup when there was just the Sunny show and then just the Cher show. And America had
Did
to
you have
put
to
up with
choose?
that. Yes. A lot of times some people chose, some people watched both. But because I could see Rod Hall and Emu on either show, I was like, I'm going to have 2 Thanksgivings this year. And then now is there can you be a diva and not be a singer? Can there be like an acting diva, or do you have to be a singer?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, the divas no, you can be an actor and be an actor and actress and be a diva. I think Meryl Streep,
Right.
is a
She would
diva.
be our
And a
diva.
lot
I
of the
think
great
she can.
English actors.
Yeah, I think they can be divas. Sure.
Because I've had comedy divas.
Oh,
and
God.
for mine, and I never stopped thinking of her, Joan Rivers.
Yeah. she
Joan
would be a
Rivers
comedy diva.
was the person that you lived and died with through her trials and tribulations. You suffered with her. You celebrated with her.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She'd be definitely comedy's diva.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else.
Tracy Ullman, think she could be a comedy diva?
Here's the thing about Tracy. She's too self-reliable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She...
2 together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's like and like there's something a little too punk rock, I think, about Tracy Ullman
Yeah.
for me to put her
Yeah.
in diva status. Just
I love her,
because
though.
yeah.
Yeah, same.
One time I did an interview with her and she just kept touching me and manhandling me.
Did you love it?
It was one of the most fantastic times of my life. It really was great. I mean, I guess I could have Harvey Weinstein her. I never got this stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But the truth is, I saw her I think why she started doing me, because I called her out. You know the guy from The Mummy? He's like a big brute of an actor.
Brendan Fraser?
Oh, Brendan Fraser.
So they're on a TV talk show, one of the late, maybe it was Fallon when he was later at night, and she starts manhandling him. and she starts to pull his shirt up and take his shirt off, right?
Oh my God.
And he's wearing some kind of Spanx girdle around his stomach.
Oh no!
And,
oh
right.
no! Oh no!
Are you looking for it to see if you can find it? Yeah, because it actually happened. And then I brought it up to her, and she was going, "Well, what's in your hair?" And she was, "This is product." She was just rubbing my hair and touching me, and it was incredibly exciting, but very Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
That is very Harvey Weinstein.
And then Harvey Weinstein did the same thing to me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yes. He made me put my penis between my
Stop it and dance like that.
Yeah.
No.
In the middle of the interview.
He said he wanted me to be in a film of his. He was doing a sequel
But only
film.
if you did that dance.
Oh no, so
Because you're going to do it in the film, so you got to do it now.
Nobody's grabbing Goodbye Horses. You're still looking for the other thing, huh?
Goodbye Horses is coming up.
Yeah, but you're on the. Well, now we've already moved on, Chris. So it could have been so much fun a minute ago. Do your plug. Do your plug, because I want to see these shows.
Okay, Chrissy Chla's in studio at her new solo show. It's Christy, bitch. Debuts at Ars Nova on Saturday, November 4th. Go to arsnovanyc.com for tickets. Chrissy will be hosting Battle of the Divas with Mateo Lane on Tuesday, November 7th at Union Hall in Brooklyn as part of the New York Comedy Festival. UnionHallNY.com for tickets and more information.
Why haven't we ever done the song like for Mateo when he comes in? Mateo Lane is in our show.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get it on the Beatles channel. All right, male divas. I want to play male divas. Bowie, a male diva.
Prince.
Prince is 100% a male diva.
Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Who wanted to be and would actually have people call him like he was in the Supremes. He would have his driver had to call him Miss Ross before. Miss Ross, would you like this? That
Wait,
was
they had
when
to call Michael Jackson Miss Ross?
Yeah, because he liked to think about Diana Ross and being her all the time. Yeah.
Oh, I love Michael Jackson. Love.
What's your favorite Michael Jackson era?
Oh my God. To be honest, my peak interest in him was when he came out when I first saw the Remember the Time music video.
Oh my
That's
God.
Gail's favorite
with
too.
Eddie Murphy.
Dude,
Yeah.
I love.
I lost my mind. And he spins into the sand. And that
song
video,
is
he
really
was
great.
hot. He was
Yeah.
sexy. He was
Michael?
I always say that because, that's like a weird thing because, like, early white Michael Jackson was my Michael Jackson. So it was just like when Michael
Same.
Jackson was just like a pretty white lady, but not so much work. Just like a little tiny
little
bit of work, but just still just like gentle
black or
soft face.
white. Remember the time. That was
black
like
or white
my-
is like, This song is actually
This song is
legitimately
hot as
great.
fuck. This song is so sexy.
Yeah.
Very.
Look at this video. He's trying to impress her, and Eddie Murphy's like, "What the fuck?"
That's good. This is good. Directors. What the fuck?
I don't think so.
I never picked up on the drama of this video until now.
Look at that, Magic Johnson. He's the guard, right? Look at him. Oh, I don't think so. Watch out, Michael. She loves it. She's horny as hell. And then they just start dancing in the middle of a chase.
This is a full silent movie.
It's great.
Oh, I watch this probably twice a day.
See, like, he's pretty there.
Look at his hair. His perm looks fantastic. Gold vest.
What year are we talking about here? About 1990, you think? Something like that?
Yeah, like it's
I
gotta
was
be
like 5. I was the horniest 5-year-old.
And you were really turned on by him, huh?
Oh, yeah. I legitimately think he's very sexy.
Look, see how cute his nose was then? Very cute,
He
actually.
has swagger. You know what I mean? For being this puny, like, physically wimpy man, he's got this swag. Look at this. All these women are like, damn, Michael.
92 is Remember the Time.
92. All right, I was 7.
No, then you had every right to those stories.
Oh, yeah, those hormones were.
They're just kicking in.
Oh, it's so good, though. And I like this whole idea. Like, they got this princess who's in an unhappy marriage. Michael's sent in to entertain.
Like, this is like the kind of storyline that women find sexy. Like, women like a whole
this
backstory.
is like woman porn.
Yes. This honestly is like porn.
Yeah.
I like when he gets all screamy.
Look at him.
Yeah, he'll have that point in every song where he just loses.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just loses his shit. Chris, were you a Michael Jackson kid when you were little?
I like the Michael Jackson where it was like history, maybe when he was
His story.
His story, where he had like he was like a general.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I think that was the cover of the album.
On the phone, you
we
and
go.
me. Till dawn, till 3. What about us, girl? This is it. Go, Gail. Gail gets on the floor. Look at this. You and me in Spain. What about? It's so good. Thank you so much for playing this.
Well, you know what's great is like you guys are pretty unique because this was his kind of and critically, he was on his downward. They were being tough, but you guys are saying
this
no.
is my favorite.
A forgotten golden age.
This is my favorite.
I'm
And
with
like
Gail.
black and white. These are like my favorite.
This is really what we came up to.
Yeah.
This
Everyone
is it.
has their own Michael.
Well, my Michael was
Baby Michael.
Well, yeah, it was Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5 where he was a fucking rock star as a child.
Yeah.
That's pretty
As a child.
amazing
It doesn't
to
even
see.
make sense that baby Michael Jackson had the talent level and then just like the rawness.
Oh yeah.
It's just like he was a fully formed emotional adult as a baby, singing about like heartbreak and like
Yes.
It's too much.
His voice was so pure and beautiful.
I was talking to Smokey Robinson, who knew him when he was a little kid, and I said to Smokey, I never got past little Michael Jackson. I'm not even at the wall, off the wall yet. I go, I haven't gone that far. I'm still with the Jackson 5.
A teenager
Yeah.
off the wall.
Yeah, and Smokey says to me, yeah, you're right, man. You should stay with that. He goes, really? There's no reason that you should get over it.
Oh, but the off the wall, that's so funny
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
unbelievable.
Off the wall's unbelievable. That's
Yeah.
when he came out, He really
That's when he was there for the last days of disco, fucking busted
Yes.
it up, and that was setting up the next thing, which was going to be the biggest album of all time, Thriller.
And that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Thriller's phenomenal. The video, but even still, I mean, this is so, I'm the only person that thinks this, but remember the time. The video
Remember the time
for me is
for you.
better than
Yeah.
the Thriller video. It's
I
my
agree.
thing. But you know what?
Like I like Thriller, but not as much as that.
Do you remember when he did, I will mention this song, Scream, with his sister?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Great
the
video.
most expensive music video of all time.
Well, it looks like an arty sci-fi movie. Like
Yes.
it looks really
That
good.
video is so expensive. I read an article about it.
It reminds me, though, of the movie that J-Law just did with the...
Oh yeah.
Yes, Passengers.
Yes. It has the same...
I think she's in this video,
Yeah.
Jennifer.
And there's the same amount of sexual connection between them.
Very
It's a
sexual.
yeah.
This video is very
There's this
sexual.
one part where Janet's like in a bikini top and she like pulls her boobs apart.
Yeah.
And I used to put on these talent shows for my parents.
Yeah.
And I did this move and my mom was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, Christy, stop doing that. Again, I was a very horny 7-year-old. I mean, this song's amazing.
And I... Does the just like Remember the Time, there's no connection between the song and the video.
Yeah.
They just go and do their own
Yeah.
thing. You know?
You should be in a spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. They're just in a spaceship. At one point, they're throwing stuff and breaking glass.
Here's what's so cool. Sometimes you don't know who's who. Like which one of them is dancing and coming
Right.
down the hall.
That was the concept.
Yeah, they look so much alike.
That's what they were going for. Also, why are they so sexual towards each other?
They are very much so.
They're twinsies. But, you know, Janet was just like, I want to be my brother. I
Yeah.
mean, her whole act
Yeah.
was being Michael. You know what I mean?
I agree. Do you
And
remember-
it's
yeah.
interesting.
When he died, they did this tribute. I want to say at the VMAs, but I could be wrong. Where Janet did this big performance, like to a medley of Michael songs.
Yeah.
And she did this song, and they pulled up like an image of MJ on a projector, and they have this like iconic dance break in the song, and she did it with him. This hologram.
Wow.
It was really, really cool.
But that would be too much.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? To do that with your own brother?
I know. But I was living for it.
Yeah.
This is the part. Get ready for the boob rip.
Okay.
It's coming.
Man.
I like this part where they're just
Who's that?
fighting over there.
That's right here. I didn't even have boobs. I was doing that.
And you did that for your parents.
They're like, Christy, go to your room. Stop watching TV.
Vito, he's younger, so his favorite Michael Jackson was the recently OD'd and dead.
Oh.
Like, that's the one that he was introduced to.
Classic.
Baby,
It's a
that's
classic.
my favorite.
With hanging blanket.
Blanket, that's my
Blanket was so great.
And Free
Blanket
Willy
was
Michael.
great. I follow. What's her name?
Paris
His daughter.
Jackson?
Paris. She's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, she's
very,
gorgeous.
very
She's a
pretty.
beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
What do you follow on Instagram or
Oh,
Twitter?
yeah. I follow all the celebs on Instagram.
Do you? Good.
That's my go-to is Insta.
Is she into girls, or was that just like a thing because she went to prom with a girl? There was something like
there was
that.
something like that.
And
I'm
I remember
not sure, but she's a very, from what I get from her Instagram, we're very close. She's very free-spirited, very like hippie-esque.
She could be one of the types who's like, I don't need to choose.
Exactly. I
don't really
whatever,
define
you know.
myself.
I'm the wind, that kind of thing.
See, this is the last that people will define themselves. The future people aren't going to define themselves as male or female, and we'll all be out of touch.
Yeah, it just seems like that's
we're
where
gonna
it's
be
going.
saying, is she coming over? And they're going to be like, what's a she?
Yeah,
And then no matter what, you're just going to be, yeah.
And they're going to call us grandmas. Because we're not going to fit into, they don't want to define us by anything. Pop Mom, can I come over tonight? And it's like, why you call me Pop Mom? You're both to me. But that's the way the world is going, and it's going to be a matter of acceptance. I'm not going to, I'm not going to dig in. I'm just going to let it happen.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Same. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
We'll all be wearing jumpsuits.
My exciting thing is that there's going to be some drug that's going to make me feel good that hasn't even been invented yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some.
nice.
Yeah, there's going to be some drug for old people. Well, I'll just be like, oh fuck, this is great.
But maybe really the drug is that technology will be so stimulating that no chemical could compare to stimulation that technology
Look, if it's a helmet, I'll put it on. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it.
Helmet
I
drug.
just. Here's what I think is going to happen. You're going to put a helmet on, go into a virtual world that you're going to look and feel like when you were a young person. And you're going to be able to go back and relive things the way you want to.
It's like step into your memories.
You want to hear
Yes.
a fear I have, a legitimate fear?
Please.
Is that live performance will become a thing of the past, because what if I can strap a helmet to my head and do a virtual comedy show for all my virtual fans? That shit scares me.
It does, but I will tell you this. It's like when I watch TV on comedy, right? If I'm watching anybody special on TV, there's something in between me and that performance. To see that in a room is a completely different experience, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to put it with like, to me, TV on TV, it's what jerking off is to actual threesome sex. I'm going to go threesome sex,
It's not even
right? To
just
make
regular.
it like, hey, I'm really in the moment. This isn't the 1,000th time. Like, it's me and you. We know each other, but who's this new person? Can we all get along? That's how I feel about comedy live. You can't compare the two. You know,
So
you
you
can't
don't
compare.
think that'll ever happen? I want to hear this.
I think there's going to be some. I think some people are still going to want to get out and press the flesh. You know what I mean?
So. I hope so, because that's a real. Did you ever see Black Mirror?
Yes.
That show is really what set it off for me, where I was
Right.
like, could this, and especially this age we're living in now, not to get too meta, but like, could this be the real future?
We're very close to that happening. It happens piece by piece, so it doesn't even shock and surprise
So we
us.
don't exactly.
Yeah.
And one day it's just like, oh my god.
Like, we were talking, I was at that casino last night where there's no dealers, but there's virtual dealers. There's fucking video games telling you to play blackjack. And at the roulette, everybody was at their own table looking at their own screen instead of each other. You know, it used to be when you played craps, everybody was a gang against the house. It was weird for me. I felt like I was in a sci-fi.
That would trip me out.
Did you see Mark Zuckerberg did a demo this week?
I wouldn't look at it.
It was so silly. It's like, this is like one of those things where it's just like, this is beta. Like, you maybe should have waited to show
What
it.
was it?
But it was basically a virtual reality type app that Facebook is doing where you can step into, you know, like you can get a 360 view, but then you yourself are like a little animated avatar of yourself interacting through that world. But it was really awkward because he did the demo in, you know, Puerto Rico. So it was just like
Puerto Rico.
Recently. So he's there with a woman and he's just being like, so this is cool. So you could just, okay, so like if you turn your head, you can see there's flooding over here. So that's cool. And you're like, oh,
That's
pick
so
something
uncomfortable.
else.
Yeah.
It's awkward as hell.
That sounds terrible.
It's just really weird, like disaster terrorism, but in a virtual reality world. It was so weird.
Oh, God.
But that's the lack of empathy that you have in that business.
That's
You know what I mean?
so strange.
Yeah.
It's so tone deaf and weird. And it also just looks silly as shit.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
It looks like Sims.
Yes. So that's his little Mark Zuckerberg avatar.
What a tool.
And then there they just high-fived. They showed, oh, look, we can even high-five. But they just happened to be in, like, flooded out Puerto Rico when they did it.
Why
It was
wouldn't they
so
just be in like a
weird.
resort in France where it's fucking great?
In front of the Eiffel Tower.
And by the way, this isn't as good as real life. This sucks. Go to Puerto Rico. It's great.
Oh my God.
Don't fucking send your cartoon self.
And they're while they're doing it, they're trying to sell it. So they just keep going, I really feel like we're here, don't you? Yeah, this feels so real.
That's like an SNL parody of an event. That's not a real.
So
That's
cringy.
insane.
So cringy and weird.
God. Oh my gosh, yeah, that
I don't even
Black
fully
Mirror
understand.
tripped me out, and then Handmaid's Tale,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm currently watching. So no spoilers for the last. I want to say I'm a little little more than halfway through. But
I won't say a word because I never remember.
Do you like her? Do you like the lead character?
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Love her acting. Love. And then I found out about how she's a Scientologist.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to feel.
I'll just only say this. Don't get too attached to her in this
Stop
series.
it.
No, I made that up. I didn't see it. I love Christy. Why aren't you plugging Chris? She's so great.
Christy, I apologize. Christy Chela's in studio. Christy's new solo show, It's Christy, Bitch, debuts at Ars Nova on Saturday, November 4th. ArsNovaNYC.com for tickets. And Christy will be hosting Battle of the Divas with Mateo Lane on Tuesday, November 7th at Union Hall in Brooklyn as part of the New York Comedy Festival. UnionHallNY.com for tickets. And on Twitter and Instagram at Christy Chela.
Yeah.
Oh, I just lost my mind.
Yes.
My heart's racing.
No, Chris, remember when we had her in here one time and she goes like this? Can we smoke in here? The girl from the
I
we were
love
just
that.
like, man, the confidence that Scientology gives you. Hey, she was married to Fred Armisen, right?
She was, yeah.
Wow, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
I think she's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
What's that Australian thing? The lake. That's what I love.
Top of the Lake she
Top
was
of the
in.
Lake, yeah.
I mean, if you think about that, she's in Handmaid's, Top of the Lake, and Mad Men.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking impressive. That's like,
Yeah.
those three alone
Yeah.
is like three massively critically acclaimed projects.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really shouldn't poo-poo or let that, especially because I'm
poo-poo
like,
if you
I'm like a pretty open Christian.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in God. I go to church. It's like, Christy.
Yeah, but you go to hipster church. I heard you on Gail's show. That doesn't count. That doesn't count as church. Yeah, anyone could do that.
I go to church with Justin Bieber.
Try to come in and do the Catholic thing with me. It's difficult.
Dude, after you said that, because I knew very little about that and then started to hear about it.
You gotta follow them on Instagram.
It's pretty
All
intense.
the pastors are hot as fuck. They love it.
Yeah, they are good-looking guys. I saw them. I went and looked up that church after you talked about it.
Pretty nuts.
They got the branding thing down where they're putting the foxiest.
It's just like, God's cool.
Yeah, he is.
He gets it.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I love it.
God wears ripped jeans. Like us.
God wears a man bun when he's doing his carpenter work.
Dude, you tell me we're really wrapping up this show?
Yes,
I'm
we
just
are.
starting to have fun.
Yes, we are.
We were listening to music
I know.
videos and having a good time.
This is the best day of my life.
Can I tell you? You
believe
can have this day anytime you want.
Really?
No matter who else is in here, you're invited.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Who's a star? We'll think of a star, too, that you can be in here for and help us interview sometime.
Are you for real?
Yeah, we'll think of a time and bring you in and
Oh
you
my
can be
God.
part of it. Yeah.
I mean, I'd lose my mind, but I'll be cool though.
Yeah, you will be cool.
I'll be cool.
You're very cool.
I'd be thrilled. This is just a blast. Thank you guys so much for having me.
And we are getting ready to wrap this up. Hey, what's the next Unmasked, Chris, that we're plugging?
Gilbert Godfrey. That's Unmasked with Gilbert Godfrey, Wednesday, November 1st at 6 p.m. at the Village Underground with the director of his new documentary, Neil Berkeley. Go to the ibang.com for a chance at free tickets.
And Neil, after that, wants to do a documentary on me.
Oh, really?
Ugh.
Goosebumps all over my body.
Well, what I have to do, I have to think of something a lot more dramatic to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So Gail and I will probably be fighting and
Big
screaming
time,
at each
yeah.
other.
Oh my God! You know what they should include? Do you remember when you judged Roast Battle?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
And
God!
you were wonderful on there.
But none of the comics were more. We're on stage saying terrible things about each other. The only thing we care about is that Ron Bennington is the judge.
Oh, that's really nice.
I mean, that was. Oh, we got to bring our A game. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That was holy shit. He's here. We can't suck.
That is really, really sweet to say that.
I mean it.
Lewis always asks me to come back, but it's an odd time. It's a Tuesday. Plus, the kids are so rough on each other.
I haven't done it in a long time. I'm kind of purposely. I'm so
Good.
grateful for it, but
You're glad to move
focus-
on to the
yeah,
next phase.
for
yeah.
sure.
Well, you're doing fantastic, and
Thanks.
everyone loves you, and we're all proud of you. You're really
Thank
great.
you so much.
You're the
Thank you.
best.
Thanks,
Yes. All right, let's plug one more time, and then we got to get out of here.
Chrissy Chela's been in studio. Christy's new show, It's Christy Bitch, debuts at Ars Nova on Saturday.
He hits that. You
Yeah,
know?
he hits
really
it every
does.
single time.
That's great.
Every time.
Debuts at Ars Nova on Saturday, November 4th. Go to arsnovanyc.com for tickets. And Christy will be hosting Battle of the Divas with Mateo Lane on Tuesday, November 7th at Union Hall in Brooklyn as part of the New York Comedy Festival. UnionHallNY.com for tickets. And on Twitter and Instagram, it's Christy Chla.
And tomorrow we're playing the Unmasked.
Dana Gould
Unmasked.
Unmasked, 2 p.m. tomorrow. And there's a chance to win a signed Dana Gould Unmasked poster just for first responders.
Oh, that was you got that sign, huh, Vito? That's a cool poster.
It's a really amazing poster.
All right, great. All right, that's it for us. We'll see you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!